over the season from spying on other teams, they would still have to show within an arbitration that it actually affected them.
Yep.
And it's pretty hard to show that. So the loss of a chance claim is going to be pretty small anyway.
It's now claimed Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. The hierarchy are also understood to have considered an approach for Unai Emery. Now, Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least $75 million for the winger. Danny Murphy isn't convinced he'll get the minutes.
Unless Munich have got some sort of plans, or Elise is off somewhere, or Diaz is off somewhere, okay, he's got confidence in himself, fine. I'm sure he has. He's that type of lad, but from a footballing perspective, as a player, I'm trying to look at it from his point of view other than the financial gain. You're going to be sitting on the bench.
And Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad along with Ollie Pope, with an opening spot available for Durham batter Emilio Gay. He's received his first call-up. There's plenty on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel.
This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent.
It's Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
Coming up today, we'll be asking whether Manchester United fans are satisfied with Michael Carrick as they open talks to keep him in the dugout at Old Trafford. Spygate continues to rumble on as Southampton secured their spot in the Championship playoff final, but should they be kicked out of the competition altogether? We're also going to hear from James Corden and what he had to say about Harry Kane's place in the England team. You do not want to miss that, and we're building up to another huge night of live and exclusive action on talkSPORT as Manchester City take on Crystal Palace in the Premier League. All that plus, we'll be joined in the studio by Olympic gold medalist Audley Harrison, and Benty brings us this week's IMDb. This is Drive on talkSPORT, and you can get involved. 03717 223344. Everyone's a winner, baby. Now, Darren Bent.
How are you, right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, to be fair. Yeah, really good. Just obviously day 2 down here in the, some people would call it the basement.
Yeah, we're very cosy, aren't we?
Yeah, it's cosy now. And we've got Audley coming in as well. It's about 6'7", so...
Yeah. Although I don't take up too much room, so hopefully it kind of levels out.
Well,
it's like 2.5 men.
I'm not really one to kind of discriminate, so I wasn't going to say anything, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. Big news coming out of Old Trafford. Manchester United, it feels like they are edging ever closer to giving Michael Carrick the job long term.
Yeah, listen, he's done really well. What Michael Carrick managed to do, getting him back into the Champions League. I remember there was a time when Manchester United were always in there every single season. They've lost their way a little bit, you'd have to say, but the fact he's got himself in there in a short space of time and done that, I guess it comes back down to, do you give him the job because he knows the club and he's done a really good job, or is there no one else out there? Because I think there's a list of managers you'd pick ahead of him, but what he's done has been remarkable.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Manchester United fans, 03717 223344. Are you happy with the idea of Michael Carrick getting the job long term?
It's come the time of right at the end of the season where I think we finished strong, put ourselves in a good position, and obviously the situation of my role and what it looks like moving forward.
If you're a football person, you can see with your own eyes what he has done, the transformation that he has made within the team.
Old Trafford roars
like it hasn't in years. Pride restored, belief rekindled.
Not only I think he deserves it, I think he wants it. They don't give him it and somebody else comes in and is not a success, I just think they leave themselves wide open to criticism.
A lot of the players now are coming out quite vociferously and backing him for the permanent gig.
I think he's done an amazing job and you can't dispute that. My only concern is we've seen this before with Solskjaer.
That's right, this really is huge news. talkSPORT understands that Manchester United are ready to open talks with Michael Carrick about him continuing in the role of head coach beyond the end of this season. It feels like a tap-in to me. It feels like it should happen. He has won 10 and drawn 3 of his 15 games in charge. Interestingly, former Manchester United midfielder Paul Scholes joined the breakfast show yesterday and said that it's the right decision.
I think the question would be what else is out there. And look, I don't mind that the club are taking a bit of time. I think last time they were probably a little bit emotional with the Ola decision, and it in the end didn't quite work out. He still did well for a while. Don't get me wrong. Look, if there was a Thomas Tuchel or a Luis Enrique available, which I don't think there is, then I'd be sceptical of Michael taking it. But I don't think they're available. So I think Michael is probably the best candidate for it now.
Darren, Paul Scholes says that Michael Carrick is the best candidate for the job. Would you agree?
Yeah, listen, if he's available, then yeah. I mean, the job he's done, you'd have to say, is I just said it there, it's been remarkable. I think if you look at his time before that at Middlesbrough, you wouldn't say that he would have been on Manchester United's radar. I think the fact that you almost get fast-tracked when you've played for the club into that position because you know the club, bring that feel-good factor back. I understand that. But, I mean, I would have... For Michael Carrick, I understand why there's a bit of a rush because you're thinking, I've done really well, you have to strike while the iron's hot. But I just wonder if Manchester United are thinking, you know what, let's wait to the end of the season because I think there potentially could be availabilities. Now, look at Luis Enrique. Depending on what happens with the Champions League final, which obviously I hope goes the other way, I hope Arsenal win it. But say PSG do win, they're heavy favourites, and he's won 2 in a row. What more can he do? So he's got 1 year left on his contract. He might become available. Now, Luis Enrique and Manchester United, massive manager, massive football club. I think there's a fair few. I think Didier Deschamps is another one. I think after this World Cup, that's him. Done.
See, I would agree with you about Luis Enrique. Look, Manchester United, arguably the biggest club in the country, undoubtedly one of the biggest clubs in the world, one of the most recognisable institutions in world football. Luis Enrique, I think you do rip up anything. You do anything. You go hell for leather to get Luis Enrique in the job. And I think that Manchester United would suddenly be back to being a behemoth.
Yeah.
But Luis Enrique aside, which, let's face it, is unlikely, he's best manager in the world. Luis Enrique aside, I think Michael Carrick's the right appointment.
So I've got a list here, right? Ancelotti, Brazil, you never know what's going to happen if he becomes available.
Do you not think that this is a little bit unfair on Michael Carrick?
Oh, no, listen, but unfortunately, that's football. Like, don't get me wrong, what he's done at Manchester United is brilliant, getting them back to the Champions League. But if Carlo Ancelotti becomes available because Brazil no longer required, you can't tell me he's not a better option. You talk about one of the best on the planet.
Okay, let's explore it though. You could say that Ancelotti's record, serial European Cup winner, won the double at Chelsea, amazing manager Ancelotti, and will go down as one of the greatest, no doubt. But is he a better manager for Manchester United now, working in the framework of Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada? Is that what Manchester United need now, or do they need somebody that knows the club, is already steering the ship in the right direction? Like, since he took the job, nobody in the Premier League has accrued more points. No club since Carrick came in has got more points than Manchester United.
Yeah. No, listen, he's done a phenomenal job. But I'm looking. Listen, he probably in his wildest dreams couldn't have imagined it would have gone this well. But if Ancelotti and Enrique are there, it takes a brave man to go, do you know what? No, we'll leave Ancelotti over there on the sidelines. Michael Carrick's our man going forward. Now, I think if you bring in a manager like Ancelotti, yes, of course, there have to be certain dispensations. You have to change certain models because he's that good. But I just think for Manchester United, Michael Carrick wants the job. I don't think there's any harm in waiting. I really don't.
I just feel like you have to commit to Carrick.
Even if Enrique could be there.
No, Enrique's the one exception. Enrique is the one exception because I think he's a genius. Like, he won a treble at Barcelona a decade ago. He's won a treble last year. He's potentially going to retain the European Cup at Paris Saint-Germain. Luis Enrique, whatever you have to do to get him, you get him. But he's the only manager. And your list, it all felt fairly uninspiring to me, apart from Enrique.
All right, so these are the people I've got. He's not going to get Pep. These are the ones I've got on the list. You've got Ancelotti there. Tuchel there, but he's obviously signed the new contract, so he's not going to be there. Deschamps, Alonso's out of work, but could be going to Chelsea. Nagelsmann, Germany, another good manager.
I don't think Nagelsmann is a more appealing prospect for Manchester United than Michael Carrick.
Don't you?
No, look, Michael Carrick knows the club. He knows the standards of the club. He won 5 Premier League titles there.
Yep.
there was a time, wasn't there, very recently, where the disparity between the fans and the owners and the players, it wasn't a happy club.
No.
Carrick has come in, suddenly the Stretford end is singing again. He knows what the standards of the club are supposed to be. And he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's been in the job.
Do you know what? He's done really well, but it'd be interesting to see if he can cope with the because they played minimum games this season, I think, ever for Manchester United.
Yeah, 40 games, isn't it?
When you start throwing Champions League in there now, domestic cup competitions, then I think we'll start to know a little bit more.
It's very harsh to penalise him for not performing in a competition. Like when people go, well, we don't know if he can do it, juggling the nature of the Champions League. Yeah, maybe we don't know that, but he has never had the opportunity.
Yeah,
what's been put in front of him?
He's done well.
And do you not think that should be the message? Like, it's a meritocracy. He's come in. People didn't think that he had a prayer of getting the club into the Champions League. He's done it with games to spare.
Yeah,
he's done it easily. I think just the fairness of it means that he deserves a job. If they give him some money to spend, what could happen to Manchester United under Carrick next year? Could you see the ambition for a club like Manchester United has to always be to win the league?
Yeah, of course.
Can you envisage it? Can you see the picture? Michael Carrick leading United to a title?
No, I can't.
See, that's a problem then. That's a problem.
Yeah,
that has to be...
But you think about Luis Enrique and the players that he can attract, then you go, oh, hold on a second here. I mean, you've got to think about the decisions that Enrique made at PSG. Got rid of all the egos. Do you know what I mean? Got the players that he wanted, good attitude, good people, wins the Champions League. They've been chasing the Champions League for years. He does it. So, listen, I don't want to do him a disservice to Michael Carrick, because if you can't get Enrique, I've got no issues with him leading Manchester United football, because I think he's earned it. But I do think there'd be a big difference next season when there is Champions League football, domestic football.
And the pressure will be on as well. He kind of had a free hit of it this year.
No, but do you know what? I never ever really think there's ever a free hit when you're at Manchester United, you know? There's certain clubs you don't get free hits, and I think Man United is one of them.
No, but Ruben Amorim led the club into such disarray that whatever had happened post Amorim, you could have blamed that. Like, Amorim's the worst manager they've ever had, isn't he?
Ooh.
He was inept.
Yeah.
Ruben Amorim was completely...
You know
I've never seen a worse manager in the Premier League, like a big club.
Do you know what? It's crazy, right? Yes, but he still managed to get United to a final, which is crazy.
They lost to Postecoglou's Tottenham.
I know, but I get it. But
which is
to say, I need to look through that. The worst in history.
I honestly think Premier League era, nobody comes close to Ruben Amorim. He was the worst.
You're not just talking about manager. You talk about big club manager.
I think.
Remember, 6 o'clock, we've got big takes coming up, so boy, you might want to save that.
I don't think that's even slightly controversial. Ruben Amorim being Manchester United's worst manager, incomparable to anything that they've had in the Premier League era. Incomparable. Yeah. Like what they would see as some of their... Like when Ralph Rangnick was there, that wasn't particularly inspiring.
No. But he spoke a lot of truth, though.
He did. That open heart surgery thing was actually proved to be correct.
10 hard 2 trophies.
10 hard 2 trophies, you can barely argue with it.
Yeah.
Ruben Amorim... And also, it was all that philosophy nonsense. Yeah. Trying to change himself from within. Look, I think Michael Carrick will be a good appointment, but any Manchester United fan who disagrees, get in touch. 03717 223344. Overall, Darren, if you had the casting vote here, what would you do?
What are my options? I need
let's
options.
pretend Luis Enrique is not available. Everyone else is available. Everyone else is. Luis Enrique, I totally concede, has to get any job in world football.
Yeah.
But if Luis Enrique wasn't on the table, everyone else is. Where are you going?
So I'd have a conversation with Ancelotti first. I think I'd have to have that conversation just to kind of pick his brain. What's he thinking for the club? What did he see? But other than that, I mean, I think there's a load of good managers out there. But sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because it's a feel-good factor. Michael Carrick, he looks the part. He's got a good training team with him, and Steve Holland, who's a really, really good coach.
Yeah.
So I think the feel-good factor around Manchester United seems to be back.
And the form of the players.
Exactly. So
Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandez.
Maybe don't rip it up, but listen, you'd have to entertain Ancelotti. You'd have to have that conversation. But that being said, if he was like, nah, I'm going to take a break, give it to Michael Carrick, he has to.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. Manchester United fans, we really do want to hear from you. Give us a bell. 03717 223344. Michael Carrick potentially taking the reins long term. What do you think about that? This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent.
Christ on a bike. If you don't win it from now, in terms of beating Burnley and beating Crystal Palace, they've got nothing to play for either side, then you don't deserve to be champions, do you?
And so what would you be doing then on that Monday afterwards? Would you be coming in on that bank holiday so you can give it to me? Would you not bother turning up if Arsenal win it?
It's not about giving it to you. It's about holding things to account. No one's really interested in your personal objectives.
So we're so close to this. So at the end of the day...
The question is, do you now think that Arsenal should now win the league?
They're in as good a position.
So if they don't win the league now, that would be relatively inexcusable.
Well, why is he when we get?
And if City win this position,
just a minute,
I'd be saying the same thing.
Why were you
if it was a City bias?
Why were you not saying that at the beginning of last week? When Man City were in that position, when Man City get a point,
because I'm delighted.
Only a point.
I'm delighted that Man City, because I'm delighted that Man City aren't going to win the league. Who wants a monopoly?
Who wants it?
That? Well, why wouldn't I do? I'm not frightened of saying things. You seem to be unwilling to say certain things. You don't want to name pundits.
No, because I've been in this journey before.
Yeah, because
they're very flippant. It's very flippant
to what people are going to say.
Well, it's very flippant to dismiss.
Put your proverbial on the block and say it, and people criticise you or they won't criticise you.
I think quietly behind the scenes.
Have they won it, Martin?
No, they haven't won it, Jim. They've got 2 games to play. Look at Man City, what we're dealing with, and it creating an energy. Will Pep be there? Won't he be there? Bernardo Silva hanging up his boots to go somewhere else. There's a drive and an energy to finish, to get to the finishing line. You're up against Pep here. Let's not discount that. You have to earn this.
You're not up against Pep. You're up against Burnley and Crystal Palace.
That's it.
And if you don't beat Burnley and Crystal Palace,
no, it's like a tug of war.
No, you're
on that rope, and that rope's starting to come Arsenal's way.
Right.
The offer to be the voice of a sheep.
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser. Well, how much of Rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man.
He's a dude. Kirsty and Phil.
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
You cannot go wrong. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll be asking what should happen to Southampton if they're guilty of cheating. But just quickly in golf, Rory McIlroy is expected to play in the US PGA Championship despite a toe injury. And Manchester United are weighing up a huge transfer for Real Madrid midfielder Federico Valverde.
Wow.
What do you reckon to that, Darren?
Do you know what, we'll go back to that question. Do you pick that song?
I did.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't like it?
I know, it's a bit of Blondie's bit of you in it, fair enough.
I love a bit of Blondie. Well, I didn't get the Darren Bent seal of approval there.
Oh, no, it shocked me, to be fair, because Jack's usually worried about a budget, but obviously today is not. So,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's special treatment. Yeah. Special treatment. Also, we deserve a bit of that. Every now and again, you deserve a bit of Blondie in your life, don't you think?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I hear that, yeah, if that's the route you can, yeah.
No, I'm clearly... this is me not doing myself any favours here. Not cool enough,
but no, listen, if Man United could get Valverde, gee, wow, what a sign that would be. I'd love him at Arsenal.
Such a good player.
Yeah.
Such a good player.
Leaving Real Madrid.
That hat-trick. Remember the hat-trick he scored in the first half against Man City earlier this year? The third goal, I think.
Well, he touched over...
It's like Bergkamp, wasn't it? It's just amazing. Like, absolutely brilliant strike.
He's top draw player, he is.
Yeah.
He's like a 9 in every position.
Yeah. They're buying very well, aren't they? If you think about the business that they did last year, Senna Lemons could easily be signed in the summer. So, yeah, big moment for Manchester United, this. And it all does feel very exciting. We are, of course, taking your calls on Manchester United. Manchester United fans, are you happy with Carrick? 03717 223344. We're going to go straight to the phone lines now. And I believe it's Will Mellor. Is it the Will Mellor? Will Mellor is in 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, Will Mellor.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know whether I've ever been called the Will Mellor, but I wasn't.
Oh, what an honour. How are you, Will?
How are you doing, boys?
Yeah, we're good, mate. We're good.
Good afternoon. I listen to you every day. I love your show. Thanks for bringing the entertainment and sport to us, man. I love it.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
How do you feel about Michael Carrick getting the job long term, Will? We obviously know you're a big Manchester United fan.
Me, I'm born and bred red. You know what I mean? Yeah, my dad was a United fan, so I was born that way. I'm with Darren on this. I don't see why we have to rush it. You know what I mean? I definitely want him to get the job. I mean, if you look at the managers we've had who've supposedly got experience, David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, people like Jose Mourinho, and it didn't work. So I think we've got to give him a chance. I mean, he's had 33 points since he came in charge of Man United. We would be top of the league since he came in from any other team, and we beat City, Liverpool home and away, beat Arsenal away. I think you've just got to give him the chance. There's no guarantee if we bring in someone with experience that it is going to work. And another thing I want to mention as well is look what he's done with Kobe. He would have left the club a few months ago, and I think Michael Carrick knows how important it is to build our academies through into our team and our squad. And I don't think we've even got a great squad. I think we've got to get rid of 3 or 4, maybe 5 players, give them a chance to have a window. And I know we haven't had Champions League football, which has helped, but he deserves the job. I don't think we need to rush it, but he definitely deserves a job and deserves a chance.
Well, it's amazing when you start playing players in their right position, the results you can get, because Ruben Amorim, I mean, he kept trying, it didn't work, he left Kobe out, he tried Bruno a little bit deeper. It's amazing the results you get when you play these top players in their normal positions.
I've said it for years, man. You know, don't put square pegs in round holes. I don't know why any manager tries to do it. Even with Dorgu. I mean, with Dorgu, you've seen what happened as soon as you played him further up the pitch against Arsenal. Look how effective he was. I don't know why Ruben had this way of playing. He'd even take 2 centre-halves off at half-time, or, every game he'd swap the centre-halves, even if they're having a good game. I don't understand, put players in the right positions and let them play. He made a statement when Kobe was there, and he said, it's either Bruno or Kobe, and everyone knows you're not going to drop Bruno. And what is that going to do to Kobe's confidence? Well, I'm never going to play. I need to play football. So Michael Carrick knows the club. The players seem to love him. I mean, I think it's interesting to listen to what the players say about him. They love him, and I think that's really important. And you know this more than anyone, Darren. If you enjoy your football, you're a better player, and especially your manager. If he knows he's got your back and he knows the club, he wants the best for the club, we move forward in that direction, and only good things can happen.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah,
completely agree. Great call, that, Will. Very interesting stuff.
I'd be interested to see what the expectations will be for next season for Michael Carrick, because I think this season he's gone back in the Champions League, so he's ahead of schedule. Manchester United Football Club, is it to win a trophy? Get out of the group phase in the Champions League? Like, what will be the criteria? Like, Michael Carrick, here's your brief.
Yeah, I think I know the answer to that. I really do. We'll find out if I'm correct in a moment, but I believe the answer is, at the very least, for a club like Manchester United in the history, challenge, if not win the title. Let's find out if I'm right. We'll speak to Zoran, who's a Manchester United fan. Zoran, I think that Manchester United need to be challenging for a title next season. That's what the club's DNA is. Do you think I'm correct?
Absolutely. And do you know what? It's very rare that I agree with you, Rory. But I will say I've liked a lot of what you've said today. So I've got 3 caveats before I start. 1, I've had a pint with Will Mellor in a pub. 2, I have been on a team that's defended against Darren Bent when he was playing for Godmanchester against Huntingdon, and he scored 5, so it weren't great.
Sorry.
Hey. Daz, we move on from that. We move on. I've not held on to it. So for me, honestly, do you know what? It was going to be very easy to come in and galvanise the team post Amorim, because as much as the outsiders and the away day, the fair weather fans said, he's bringing this culture. He didn't. He did play people in the position. He did rub up the academy players the wrong way. Thankfully we shipped Garnacho off to some team that we don't hear about too much anymore.
Thanks for that.
What I would say is, for me, Carrick has been fantastic, bringing that Manchester United feeling back into the players. Exactly the same as Solskjaer was. The worry for me is when we get to the next stage, where there is a lot more games in a season, where you've got to call players in from a Champions League perspective in terms of transfers, and you have that pull. Has Carrick got that pull to get them in? Yes, he's got the local boys, but has he got the Valverdes? Has he got their ear to go, you know what, this is the philosophy, here's what we're going to go forward as? Don't get me wrong, I think Steve Holland needs a lot of a lot of kudos in the way that he's been there. Like, he's been phenomenal. For me, in an ideal scenario, you'd keep Carrick in and around the club. And I know it sounds like a bit of a downgrade for him because, you know, he was once the coach, aka manager. But I think you keep him in the club and you surround the club with as many players like that, with the Carricks, with the Rooneys, maybe not the Scholes because he tends to get a bit arsy about us at the minute, but with them players that can go, this is the philosophy, this is how we win leagues. I think we need the next step. The problem is, who is there?
But I think that's the thing. I think that when you look at Manchester United next season, listen, they have done fantastically well to get in there, but you add the extra games in. I'm telling you now, so Arsenal will go again next season. Man City will go again next season. Liverpool won't be this bad next season. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be pushing. I expect a lot of teams in and around that top half of the table to get better. So it won't be just a free run to get yourself in the Champions League.
That I agree with. But everything that was said so far about Michael Carrick, I think Zoran's hit the nail on the head. Manchester United feel like Manchester United again.
Yeah.
And that is something that is unquantifiable.
Just say Luis Enrique gets the United job and Carrick's available. Would you take him at Chelsea?
Well, that's something that Manchester United might have to worry about. You know, if they're dilly-dallying and Luis Enrique doesn't become available, I think what Carrick has done at Manchester United will have alerted a lot of other potential suitors.
So would you take him?
Well, he's better than Callum McFarlane, isn't he? He's obviously better than Liam.
You haven't answered the question. Carrick is available.
Potentially, yeah.
Here you go.
Never really thought about it, but potentially, I think he's a perfect Manchester United manager. I think he fits Manchester United really well. Okay. But yeah, I think I would.
So
he'd be on a short list at Chelsea.
Enrique gets the United job at the end of the season. Carrick's available. Chelsea, you happy?
I certainly wouldn't be unhappy. I certainly would be unhappy.
That doesn't sound like you're happy, though.
I don't understand what's happening here with Michael Carrick's legacy. Like, we were just talking a moment ago.
So I'm asking you.
Darren, we were just talking a moment ago, and people were asking, like, I think it was just put to us by Zoran, does Michael Carrick have that cachet within the game? He was a world-class footballer who was at the epicentre of the best Manchester United team of all time. He won 5 Premier League titles. If that doesn't inspire players in his dressing room, they're the wrong players. It's not the wrong manager.
I mean, actually, yes or no, that's all.
For the sake of this argument, I feel like I need to say yes.
There you go.
So yes.
That's what I need.
So yes, Darren, I would. I certainly would. Now, still to come, we are going to be asking what you think of a journalist asking Southampton's manager if he is a cheat. But first, it's time for my favourite part of the show. It's no Googling. We want to know, who did Michael Carrick combine with for the most goals throughout his career?
Ooh.
Do you know?
I've got a random guess in my head.
Okay, I've got somebody. We'll find out after.
The answer's in front of you.
No, but I haven't looked. I'm an honest man. We'll find out after this.
Leeds, they had injuries. They weren't really at the races.
And they should have won it, though. Leeds should have won it.
Yeah, because we fell apart. We fell apart, mate.
False that.
Yeah, but
don't blame Leeds. Don't stand on a proper West Ham.
I'm not blaming Leeds, but Leeds were there to get beat tonight. It wasn't a great performance from Leeds, right? But once we scored, we went 1-0 up, right? Yeah. And we fell apart. We were bottling it all over the park. No one had any bottle to get on the ball, to make a pass, to have some structure. There was no pattern of our play. Everything that De Zerbi's probably been working on with them just went completely out the window.
Well-
There's 11 players just out there hoping that something might happen.
I thought it was a good point. I thought it was a decent point, mate.
Is that what you're going to say for 2 hours? You're just going to say it's a good point? Like,
Well, you could have come away
ain't
with
a good-
nothing. And I tell you what's worse, losing. That's worse.
I know, mate, but that's not a good point. We're at home. Out of the 3 games we got left, that's the easiest
How many
game.
points have you picked up this season at home?
I don't know. Not many.
Right, not many. So that's a good point.
I don't think we've won at home for 5 months. I know, but come on.
5 months. I've had a hair transplant. It's going to grow back. I'll have a hair transplant. It's going to grow back by the time you next win at home. That's how long it's been. I only had a hair transplant about 6 weeks ago.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that performance. What is Matthias Del doing? What?
Oh, it's
Tell
a
me.
brilliant finish. What are you on about?
No, the goal's a great goal. What's he doing in his box? What is he doing? A bicycle kick.
Yeah.
A bicycle kick in your own box when you're in the bottom 3, when you can't see what's around you, and he's trying to do a bicycle kick. Honestly,
I mean,
what's he doing?
Can we just give
in
Everton?
the first half, he crossed one in, and it was a great ball into his own box.
This Spygate saga could rumble into next week. That's the view of football legal expert Stefan Borson.
It's a very, very difficult situation for this independent commission. I don't see how anybody can know that it's heading in the direction of sporting sanction, notwithstanding the fact that clearly, if you spy on a team, the reason is to gain an advantage.
We understand Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. It ended a 2-1 home win for Saints after extra time in a tense playoff semi. Danny Murphy's told talkSPORT it goes to show there's not that much to gain from spying anyway.
The impact of what they did, although it's wrong on the pitch, as Simon said, the evidence of the game tells you there was no impact.
This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the Southampton defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting even closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least 75 million for the winger. And some breaking news from the world of cricket. Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad. With an opening spot available, Durham batter Emilio Gray has received his first call-up. Get all the latest on our website at talksport.com.
Jack, first day back, honestly.
You're not Belinda Carlisle, mate.
Jack, you know. Honestly, first day back, Jack.
I don't think you can go wrong with a bit of Belinda Carlisle.
You said that about Blondie the last one.
Yeah, I stand by that as well. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent. A moment ago, we brought you the first of today's no Googling questions. We asked, who did Michael Carrick combine with for the most goals throughout his career? Darren Bent, do you know the answer?
Well, I guess Wayne Rooney, but he said I was close. So then Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Michael Carrick combined for 11 goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Darren? I've just got a bit of pushback. During the conversation we were having about Michael Carrick, I referred to him as a world-class player, elite.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of pushback on my social media channels suggesting that was incorrect. You played with Michael Carrick.
Yeah, England, like, obviously shared watched him train. I played against him. Top. Like every team now would love a Michael Carrick in it. And I think at the time he was underappreciated, undervalued. But in terms of on the half turn, none of this, let me get my stats up, pass the ball sideways and backwards. Everything was half turn. Where's Rooney? Where's Scholes in the pocket? Do you know what I mean? Where's Nani coming off the line? He was absolutely top. And his touch, his thought process, his vision, his range of passing, he was top.
Do you think it's fair that I've labelled him elite and world class, or do you think that's...
No, that's fair.
You think that's fair?
That's fair, yeah. If he was now 100 million.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
His game would be built around him now. No doubt about that. Now, still to come, we'll be asking what you think of a journalist asking Southampton's manager if he is a cheat. But now talkSPORT can reveal that Anthony Gordon has agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Yes, you did hear that right. Anthony Gordon has agreed terms with Bayern Munich. However, there remains a significant gulf between Bayern and Newcastle after the clubs began their talks. Newcastle, they're seeking more than 75 million quid. 75 million quid for Anthony Gordon. Arsenal also appreciate Anthony Gordon. Liverpool hold a historical interest, but they're not expected to enter this race. What do you think here, Darren? Bayern Munich, Anthony Gordon. Never before have I been more shocked at a transfer.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But listen, fair play to him. If you can get that move, then go and do it. But he obviously doesn't start, and he knows that. But being at a club like Bayern Munich, he's going to get minutes because they go deep in all their domestic competitions. I mean, they pretty much win the league every year. They always go deep in Champions League football as well. He's going to get enough game time there. And what I would say, right, is people look at it again, well, he's not going to start, he's not going to play, it's a waste of time. But what they're going to bring him in for is, all right, we've got a big Champions League game midweek. We've got Frankfurt or Mainz on the Saturday. You start that game. Do you know what I mean?
You got who?
Mainz?
Yeah.
Mainz?
And who?
And who's that, did I say?
I think it's like Frankfurt and Freiburg combined.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hamburger, SV. Those teams, you got... Okay, we've got them on Saturday, right? Anthony Gordon, you're going to go and get your minutes in that.
Yeah.
We've got PSG Champions League midweek. So he'll get his minutes, and I understand that.
So if you think that's what the signing's about, and I think you're probably correct, does that suggest that this is quite an underwhelming move from Gordon's perspective? He's effectively going there to play second fiddle.
Oh, no, listen, if I was playing and I had the opportunity to go to Bayern, even though Kane's ahead of me, I'm going to Bayern. Because A, you've got to challenge yourself, even though you know how good Kane is. And also that winning environment. You go there for a couple of seasons, obviously fill your pockets full of money, but obviously your trophy cabinet's stacked. You've got a chance of winning the Champions League, playing in the Champions League. Then you could always come back and go elsewhere. But I think a club like Bayern, those opportunities don't come around often.
Okay, £75 million. £75 million.
I'm driving him there myself if I'm Newcastle.
You know, over the years when you've seen transfers happen that just didn't make any sense. Alex Song to Barcelona, for example. You know,
good player. I played with him at Charlton. Good player.
Did you?
Yeah, good player.
Yeah, but the Barcelona move, it was like, who is his agent? It was one of those, wasn't it? It was like, how's he got that Barcelona move? I just don't understand the valuation of Anthony Gordon. I think he's a decent enough footballer. Fine. But £75 million is wild, isn't it?
Well, it's English tax, isn't it? There's that as well. And I understand it seems like a lot of money. And I like Anthony Gordon. I think he's a really good player. He's had by his standards, an average season. He's better than that. 6 Premier League goals and 2 assists. He's a lot better than that. But Newcastle, if they can get 75 million, you've got to do it. And this is why I do feel for Newcastle, because the owners came in, there was this feel-good factor, they've got all the money in the world. They have to sell all their better players, because Gordon might go obviously this summer. They talk about Tonali potentially going, Bruno might go as well. How are they ever supposed to take a step forward? They can't. But if someone offers you 75 million for Gordon, I think you have to take it.
75 million for Anthony Gordon. The world has gone mad, but that one could be on the cards. We will monitor it as it develops. Now, though, it's time for this.
So you're 100% sure Mum and Dad ain't going to be in the cafe or the chippy?
Can't just lock her away. Craig Dixon, I'm arresting you. Do not have to say anything, but anything you do say, I'm going to take him down, give him his evidence.
This is Raw and Order.
Well, if you need the big guns.
That's right, this is our brand new feature, Raw and Order, and for some reason, it's linked to me talking to Ian Bill in the chippy. I will never forgive our producer for that.
Oh, you was in
That's what that is.
What was you in EastEnders?
Yeah.
You was in the episode of EastEnders?
Briefly, very briefly. And for some reason, it's been dug out. They've taken the sound and they've played it over this sting, and I have absolutely no idea why.
No, You was in EastEnders?
Very briefly. Decades ago.
I didn't know that.
And our producer has managed to dig out the...
BAFTA nominated or...?
No, certainly not. That's what I'm saying with you.
Oh, no, fair play. I wouldn't mind a little extra part. Was you an extra or an actual character?
No, it was a long time ago, but I was a character. My mum's an extra.
Yeah?
My mum's in the background all the time. If you see her in the Vic.
So it should really say Rory Jennings, football pundit / actor.
/ chancer.
No, actor.
Actor, chancer. Hope for the best. Expect the worst.
EastEnders, go on you.
That is me. Anyway, this is our new feature. It's called Raw and Order. Every day this week, we'll be given 5 things based on a certain category, and we simply have to rank them in order from 1 to 5. And with Arsenal looking set to win the title today, what we're going to do is we're going to rank the best sides to have ever won the Premier League. Ready? The 5 teams that we have to put in order are as follows. The Arsenal Invincibles.
What a team. Oh, my goodness, wow.
The Manchester United 99 treble winners.
I'm not sure. Do you know what? Don't get me wrong, incredible. I would have liked to have seen the Man United 08. That team was...
Yeah. Although the 99 treble winners were no mugs.
Yeah, because 08 had Tevez, Berbatov, Ronaldo, Rooney.
Yeah,
Scholes, Carrick.
York, Cole, Solskjaer, Sheringham's.
Okay, which forward would you rather? Let's be honest.
I mean...
Ronaldo, Rooney.
Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez. Yeah,
Berber.
Although, if you think about the midfield as well, if you compare the 2 Manchester United sides... Giggs on one side.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Giggs, probably Manchester United's greatest ever player. Probably the Premier League's greatest ever player.
What?
Giggs.
Better than Rooney.
How many titles?
Yeah, but that's just longevity.
Ryan Giggs won 13 league titles. For context, Arsenal Football Club have won 13 league titles. Ryan Giggs himself has won as many league titles as Arsenal Football Club.
I get that, but come on. He ain't better than Rooney. For Manchester United, he's not better than Rooney.
If you think about what he did for Manchester United, if you think about what Ryan Giggs did, like I was in Moscow, he scored a penalty in Moscow. He became the record appearance holder for the club. Think about being that and then still playing for another few years afterwards.
Come on. Listen, Giggs, unbelievable, but he's not Rooney.
Do you think Rooney is Manchester United's greatest?
Oh, he's up there, 100%. I put him above Ryan Giggs.
No, just for great. I'm not saying best player. Ronaldo's probably their best player. But for just being their greatest, I think it's Giggs.
No, listen, long serving, yeah, Giggs, legend, but Rooney for me is the one.
You reckon? Okay.
Well, I mean, you've got obviously you don't want to discard the boys before them. Bobby Charlton.
Yeah, of course.
But
the Holy Trinity outside the stadium.
My Wazza.
Reckon?
Nothing he could do.
You're the boss, Darren. This is your show. Do you want this to be?
Joe worked hard on this. I'm going 99.
Okay, we'll stick. So it's the Arsenal Invincibles, Manchester United 1999, the Manchester City Centurions, Chelsea 2005, Liverpool, the title-winning team in 1920.
Right.
It's from 5 up. Okay.
Off the bat, who do you think's 5?
The Arsenal Invincibles.
I knew you were going to say that. No.
The Arsenal Invincibles are 5th.
No, they're not.
The Arsenal Invincibles aren't even as good as the Arsenal team either side of it that won the double.
No, but listen to me, right? On this list, well, actually, no, Man City can claim to do that as well. Arsenal are the only team in here to not get beaten all season. So they can't be 5th. They've done something on this list that no one else has done, ever.
But they ultimately only managed to accrue 90 points. They had a load of draws. And, like, this Chelsea team lost 1 game. Won 2 trophies.
You tasted defeat.
It lost 1 game. One game at Man City and Elka scored a penalty. That's the only game that the Chelsea 04-05 team lost.
I'm not putting Arsenal 5.
We lost. The Arsenal Invincibles is the worst team on this list. It's a great list.
I'm putting Liverpool. I put Liverpool at 5.
Okay, I can live with that. Liverpool 5. I can live with Liverpool 5. Then obviously Arsenal Invincibles 4.
I'm going to go with 4.
It's obviously Arsenal Invincibles 4.
I might go Chelsea, you know.
What, a team that won 2 trophies? So the Arsenal team that went unbeaten, it got 1 trophy and 90 points. The Chelsea team got 2 trophies and 95 points. But you think it's better?
Yeah,
Actually, hang on a minute. The Arsenal Invincibles were the title holders, so they won 04. Chelsea came along 05 and dethroned them.
Yeah.
Those two teams.
You're trying to put my... Okay, so I've given you Liverpool 5. You're going to say Arsenal 4?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't agree with that, but I'm going to let you do that because you're the guest here. So
Arsenal 4.
Who's 3?
3 is the City Centurions.
You're going to try and put Chelsea 1.
In my list.
You must think.
I'll be completely honest.
I looked at the list and thought, is it going to go Chelsea 1?
The Chelsea 04-05 team was pretty good.
But the only thing about United 09, they won 3 trophies, which is incredible. But they won the league with like 78 points.
The Manchester United treble winners is probably the best.
See, I think it's better.
But you took them off the list. So playing the cards we're dealt.
So Centurions, you put in where?
The Centurions 3rd.
Okay, this is Rory Jennings, by the way.
Centurions 3rd.
When you click this up, it's Rory.
Centurions 3rd, Chelsea 04-05 2nd, and the Manchester United treble winners. That was just history, wasn't it? It was one of the greatest achievements, something I didn't think was possible.
What, and again, a whole season unbeaten is not?
Winning the European Cup against Bayern Munich in the Nou Camp in the last minute, in those inspired substitutions.
No, I'll give you that.
Then you think about the way that they won the FA Cup. Ryan Giggs at Villa Park.
Ryan
Giggs at Villa Park, then winning the league on top of it.
So you're saying this Manchester United team 99 is
Manchester United 99 is the best side.
So I personally think that 08 is better than them. But for this list, this feature, I'll go 99. That's fine.
You've got to remember as well, that 99 United team, the Arsenal team of 98 won the double.
Mm-hmm.
The following season, United bounced back to win the treble. Made a statement there. I think it has to be. I think our list is perfect, don't you?
No. But
No.
for
I think I made a
purposes
total
of this,
pig's ear
you
of
can
it.
have this, yeah.
Pig's ear. No, I'm quite proud of the list. I think we basically got it right.
No, we didn't agree, but I'm giving it to you.
Oh, right, you're selling me down the river. I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm on my own. So do you agree that Manchester United 99 is the best team on this list?
I mean, it's got the best. It's got the best. It won 3 trophies. You can't argue with that. But I think the best team, man for man. I mean, the Arsenal Invincibles is incredible.
You're just obsessed with these Invincibles, aren't
Yeah, of course
you?
they are.
Do you think the Arsenal Invincibles are the best Arsenal Premier League team ever?
I mean, the argument's 98, the double.
Or 2002, they won a double again, didn't they?
Yeah, but that Invincibles team, I mean, they had some Thierry, Perez, even God rest his soul, who I absolutely loved, Antonio Reyes, one of my favourite players.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell, Torre, Ashley Cole.
So what do you think? You think if you were
Vieira, I didn't even mention Burke, I didn't mention them.
Yeah. If you were ranking the Arsenal sides, then do you think the 98 would be the rival?
It'd be close. It'd be a flip of a coin between those two. 98's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Nelka up top was incredible.
Yeah, I agree. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll be turning our attention to Spygate. 0371722 3344 if you want to join in.
Afternoon, boys.
So, yeah, as we said earlier on to Andy Brasso, it looks like it was moving on apace, the Jose to Madrid train. So, where are we at?
Yeah, that certainly seems to be the direction of travel. In fact, it's been suggested to me this afternoon that it's virtually agreed now that Real Madrid are going to reunite with Jose Mourinho. Of course, he's in charge of Benfica at the moment. He's had a pretty successful period since returning to Portuguese football, but there is a break clause in his contract at the end of the season that means a club can pay Benfica €3 million. He'll be a free agent, and that will enable him to move on. As I say, I think it will be back to the Bernabeu. I'm fascinated to see how this works out. It's been described to me as Real Madrid's worst season in a number of years. We heard about that dressing room bust-up last week between two of their star players. Obviously, it was a dismal defeat in the Clásico to Barcelona, handing them the title. So there's a lot of work to be done. But it's not the first time that Florentino Perez has gone back to someone that he knows. And I think in Jose Mourinho, they see someone who can come in and assert that dressing room authority that maybe Xavi Alonso struggled with all the egos that they have on their books. And clearly Arbeloa is struggling as well.
Good stuff, Crookie. Thanks very much.
No worries.
There's Alex Crook there, and we'll keep an eye on that story. Andy Brassel was sceptical, I think it's fair to say, earlier on, our European football expert, that was going to work, but the chairman or the president does what the...
Chris O'Dowd! When you get the offer to be the voice of a sheep...
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser! How much of rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man.
So
He's a dude.
Kirsty and Phil!
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
Boney M, man.
Who?
Boney M.
Who has Boney M?
Oh, Boney M. Daddy Cool and all that. You can't go wrong with a bit of Boney M.
Jack, listen, hour number one. Hey, hour number one. You know what I mean?
No, there's always room for Boney M on any show.
Is this part of the budget? Is it?
I mean, this is money well spent. This is genuinely the way that you should be spending
So
money.
if you're driving, you need to this in the car, yeah?
Oh, I'd have this on. I'd have Mar Baker go in. I'd have Daddy Cool go in. This is me.
Okay, nice.
This is me all day long.
Learning a bit more about you every day.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Now, still to come, we'll be joined by former British heavyweight boxer Audley Harrison. But just quickly, prices for trains and buses to World Cup matches at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, they've been cut following a backlash from fans. It's down from $150 to $98. Still feels very dear to me, that.
It does, at least it's going the right way. I mean, MetLife is going to be absolutely crazy, incredible. But yeah, at least they're going in the right direction. I mean, I remember when they had to bring their ticket pricing down as well, because that was going absolutely ballistic. So yeah, at least they're starting to see the light, but still it needs to come down a tad more.
No, it's very difficult for fans. And also from 5 p.m, we'll be asking what you made of this last night after Southampton beat Middlesbrough to reach the playoff final.
Because it's an ongoing investigation, and nothing that I say at the moment is going to make an impact on that. So I guess it's not easy for me. It's but it doesn't change. It's I would say something. It's not the moment.
Are you a cheat? Thank you very much. Just show some respect. Just show some respect. That's all we ask. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well done. Thank you.
Snorted that. Didn't like that. Made me feel uncomfortable. That.
What do you think?
Well, listen. Clearly, he hasn't sent whatever's going on. I'm sure Tonda's not behind it. To ask him that blatantly, that's no respect, that is.
Yeah,
no respect whatsoever.
Yeah, that was Tonda Eka walking out of his second press conference in the space of a few days after he was asked blatantly if he was a cheat in the wake of Spygate.
Do you know what? There's a way to ask people the questions, and I understand you have to ask them because it's the biggest story out there right now. But there's a way to do it. Just don't go to his face, you're a cheat. What do you expect him to do?
To be totally honest, I think it's quite refreshing journalism.
Only you would think that.
Do you think I'm in the minority here?
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, though, I've seen an image of this person in the bushes taking pictures. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, "Are you a cheat?"
No, because not to the manager. Okay, listen, you've got a lot going on. I understand that, but do you think it's a form of cheating?
Journalism,
don't go to his face. Are you a cheat?
Darren, what's the point of journalism? To checks and balances, to hold people to account. If this has been done without his approval, without his knowledge, that's fine, say it. But as things stand, we can see that something is going on here. And I think that it's refreshing journalism to ask him directly, are you a cheat?
Oh, no, I didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable.
Tell you what, we want to hear from you about that. We are taking your calls on that from 5 p.m, so get in touch now. 03717 223344. Now, though, it's time for this.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
That's right, it's time for today's Bet Builder with our friends at Paddy Power. Welcome, Graham Byrne. We are looking at tonight's Premier League match at the Etihad as Manchester City host Crystal Palace. Graham, please remind us how the Bet Builder works.
Yeah, together between us, we're going to put a scenario together. We've got 5 selections each. Yourself and Benty have put one in. I've put one in. The producers put one in. The people's put one in. Let's hope there's no cheating going on here. Rory,
Oh, come on, Graham, you better than that.
I'm very confident with my selection, Graham.
Yeah. Have you been crunching the stats with this one, Rory?
Yes. No, I've given this the due diligence that it deserves. I'm convinced that my pick, I can't be held accountable for what Darren Bent does. I can't be held accountable for what our producer does. But I'm convinced that my leg of this Bet Builder will be proved accurate.
Yeah, you've gone with both teams to score, and looking back through the history with these teams, Palace won't fear City. They've actually got a decent enough record against them, and both teams to score has clicked in 4 of the last 5 league games between them.
Well, Graham, I've gone for an obvious one. Obviously, someone that finds the net regular. I've gone for Erling Haaland to score any time, please.
Yeah, and you're on fire at the moment, Benty. I think you've got 12 of the last 14.
Don't say that, Graham.
Prolific stuff.
Graham, he's celebrating in the studio. He's actually celebrating opposite me. You didn't need to say that.
It's sensational stuff. He's going to keep it going tonight because I think Haaland scored in 4 in a row. I think he's got for his 27th goal tonight, so Benty's looking to keep his streak going too.
Yeah, have you, our producer Joe, he has suggested that Jeremy Doku will have 2 or more shots on target.
Yeah, what an end of season Doku is having. He's shooting on side at the moment. He's had 2 shots on target in both of his last couple of games, and he's a player who's really hit form at the right time for City.
Yeah, Graham, what's your selection?
I'm going to go with Ryan Cherky to score or assist, because we're expecting loads of goals in this one, and I'm hoping that if he's going to be involved, if City are going to score a few goals, then surely Cherky, with the position he plays in that team, will be there for an assist or a goal.
He's such a brilliant player, isn't he, Ryan Cherky?
He's top, yeah, he's top.
Phenomenal talent. Graham, what's the people's pick?
The people are going for over 3.5 goals, because the people are thinking City are going to have to try and do something tonight. They're going to have to make a statement. They're in the last chance. It's probably already closed. I can't see Arsenal slipping up from here. There's a history of goals between these two teams. There's been over 3.5 goals in 4 of the last 5 games. And the only game that didn't have over 3.5 goals was the game earlier this season. It was 3-0 to Man City.
Graham, if all of that comes in, what value are we looking at here?
We're looking at a 7-1 bet, Rory, and I'm actually feeling confident about this one tonight.
Yeah, that does feel good. And there's also a charity bet, I hear.
Yeah, we'll be going to the Attitude Foundation. Anything that we win tonight, hopefully, and hopefully Rory, you'll bring us a little bit of luck tonight.
Fingers crossed. I'm like I say, I'm confident in my selection.
Hey, 12 out of 14, prolific. You ain't got to worry about me.
Graham, look what you've done. You've opened the door to the celebration. The smug Darren Bent sitting opposite me. Thank you so much, Graham. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks, gents.
Thank you. That is Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
That's unbelievable. That.
He's still celebrating. He's still celebrating.
I'm doing all I can for charity.
I can't believe it. I'm gutted with Graham for saying that, actually. But next up, it's just part of the show that I'm really looking forward to. We are taking your calls on Spygate. Give us a call, 03717 22 3344. Get your calls in now.
Is the Anfield crowd continuing to turn, though, on Arne Slot, or can he win back the Liverpool faithful? Just last Wednesday, Danny Murphy finished off this show very strongly by saying, well, the Liverpool fans I know, and they're all diehards, have given up on Slot, and it's time to go. Arne Slot was asked if he feels he can win those disaffected Liverpool fans back.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Not this season, by the way. This season they will have their opinion and that will not change. But if we can have the summer that we are planning to have, then I'm 100% convinced that we will be a different team next season than we are now. Different in terms of results, different in how things look. But it's not always that simple, because sometimes you know what you have to do, but it's not always possible to also get exactly what you want. But for us, for me, it's really clear what we are lacking this season.
Well, the boos rang out, Martin, at full time, and many of the Liverpool fans, Simon, are not having them any longer. One wonders what he's going to do now, or if he has any time left to do what he wants to do and win them back round.
He won the Premier League last year, Jimmy. He's to be given more time, but they seem to have lost their way a little bit. I thought when he went there initially...
More than a little bit, though, Martin. Isn't it?
But when he went there initially, like, it was very... I used to say crazy Klopp, but I really liked the energy that he got going, you know, that heavy metal tune that they used to sort of dance to. They came back from that a little bit and it was more managed, whereas this year they've not got to that boiling point again. They don't play with that same fever.
Southampton are in the Championship playoff final on paper, but will it stay that way? It's been suggested that the direction of travel is a sporting sanction for Saints, should those spying charges stick. Football legal expert Stefan Borson has told talkSPORT it's one thing accusing something and an entirely different thing proving it.
Even if the independent commission says that we think that there's a potential of a sporting advantage that's been accrued over the season from spying on other teams, they would still have to show within an arbitration that it actually affected them.
Yep.
And it's pretty hard to show that. So the loss of a chance claim is going to be pretty small anyway.
It's now claimed Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. The hierarchy are also understood to have considered an approach for Unai Emery. Now, Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least $75 million for the winger. Danny Murphy isn't convinced he'll get the minutes.
Unless Munich have got some sort of plans, or Elise is off somewhere, or Diaz is off somewhere, okay, he's got confidence in himself, fine. I'm sure he has. He's that type of lad. But from a footballing perspective, as a player, I'm trying to look at it from his point of view other than the financial gain. You're going to be sitting on the bench.
And Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad along with Ollie Pope, with an opening spot available for Durham batter Emilio Gay. He's received his first call-up. There's plenty on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent.
It's your imagination. That's just a mailbox. But there is one on this side of the bus.
That's me acting, that.
What is that?
Phineas and Ferb.
What, you were an actor?
Yeah, well, voiceover work.
Voiceover actor? I mean, you delivered it well.
I was nominated as well for a couple of awards, so...
Really?
Yeah, man.
Did you win them?
Did that tree just say Doofenshmirtz?
Yes, yeah, man.
Mate, you're fantastic. Now, still to come today, we will be joined by former British heavyweight boxer Audley Harrison. But first, Southampton are on their way to Wembley. For now.
I spy with my little eye something beginning with P. Could be playoff, could be promotion, could be punishment.
Middlesbrough bring it forward again. Britain's ball in, right-footed efforts in. What a start! 5 minutes in. It's Middlesbrough that take the lead. Manning bringing the ball forward now for Southampton. Left-footed ball flicked in. Stewart! Narrowly wide. Plenty of grappling going on inside the 6-yard box. It's teased in towards the far post. What a save from British. A volley came in. Southampton bundling in on the follow-up. And an equalising first half stoppage time. Next ball in. Oh! It's gone in! It's 2 on Southampton! A freakish goal that might send them to Wembley! And Southampton have won! K. Sarah, they're going to Wembley? Maybe. Southampton 2, Middlesbrough 1 after extra time.
Does sound fantastic. There's nothing quite like the playoffs, and as you heard there, Southampton are into the playoff final after a 2-1 win at home to Middlesbrough last night. But the game came in the middle of Spygate, with Middlesbrough accusing Southampton of observing their training session last week. There's an investigation that is still ongoing, with Southampton being kicked out of the playoff a real possibility. Can you imagine that, Darren? If Southampton get kicked out of the playoff final. Middlesbrough are still in training with the potential of that actually happening.
Well, yeah, I think the EFL have got to make a stance somewhere. They can't let it go unpunished, and I don't think... Listen, a points deduction is not going to work because EFL and Premier League, they're two completely different governing bodies, so who don't work well together for whatever reason. We've seen certain teams, I think Leicester was one where they got done in the EFL, but it couldn't happen in the Premier League, and it was all a bit of a mess. But the EFL have got to do something. I feel for the Southampton players and the manager because I don't think it's them, but unfortunately, if you break the rules, there's got to be some kind of punishment, and if that's what they come to, I think they've got to go strong because whatever you do, you've got to allow and set a message and send the tone out to the rest of the division. This won't be tolerated.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tonderecker, in fact, spoke to the media after the game and took issue with one of the questions.
Because it's an ongoing investigation, and nothing that I say at the moment is going to make an impact on that. So it's not easy for me. But it doesn't change. I would say something, it's just not the moment.
Are you a cheat? Thank you very much. Just show some respect. Just show some respect, that's all we ask. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well done. Thank you.
Powerful. Powerful. You didn't like it, did you?
No, I didn't at all, because if he doesn't know anything, Tonderecker, and he has no knowledge of what's gone on behind the scenes in terms of the spying, it's really disrespectful. That's not the question you throw at him. You throw it at, I don't know, the CEO, whoever you can get an interview with, you do it to them. You don't do it to the manager. He just come off probably the most... Like, he just got to a playoff final. His face shouldn't look like that. His face should look like, oh my goodness, what a campaign. The way it started under Will Still, who I do like, didn't quite work. We were way off the playoffs. We managed to put a run of form together to get ourselves in the playoff. We're going to Wembley. We could be going to the Premier League again. He should be all filled with emotion.
Darren, you can call me a cynic here. Mm-hmm. You've been around it. You've been around managers. You've been around football clubs. From the outside looking in, from my perspective, I feel like the manager knows everything. The manager is an omnipotent force at a football club. I find it very difficult to see a world where, if this has been sanctioned by Southampton, that somehow we can insulate the manager from any criticism.
Oh, no, yeah, of course. I don't think he is responsible for what's gone on there. I don't think he's gone to the owners, get a bit of knowledge on Middlesbrough. I just don't see that he's the heart of it. I think someone else has taken it upon themselves. I mean, it's still under investigation. But what I'm saying is, I just think it's unfair to kind of pigeonhole him in that scenario when he just had probably one of the biggest results of his career. They could be going back to the Premier League. I just don't.
What did you think? Did you think it was disrespectful? I think it was put forward.
I think it was a better way to ask the question. I don't think you need to do it that way. Deliver it like, are you a cheat? You could say, listen, you're under investigation. The club is an uproar. Middlesbrough ain't happy. Their other clubs are not happy. Do you believe that your club's cheated?
Yeah.
Don't go, are you a cheat? In his face like that.
See, I'm inclined to. I liked it. I did. I thought it was direct. It was brazen. And if he is a cheat, he needs to be put under pressure. The responsibility of journalists in this country is to hold power to account. That's what journalism is.
Yeah.
Make sure that the people who are in charge are behaving properly, and if they're not, there needs to be the fear that they will be dragged over the coals by the journalists.
By him asking that question, what did he get from that? Nothing. Just waste his time.
No, he put pressure on the club. He put pressure on Eckert. The clip's gone round. The
clip's gone round, but he got nothing from it. Like all they've got now is clickbait. People have gone, "Are you a cheat?" and he's walked out. The rest of the journalists are thinking, "Brilliant. I can't answer no questions now."
Yeah, that's true.
That's killed the rest of the room. So by someone trying to be a bit brazen and go, "Do you know what? I'll get him."
How damaging do you think it is? You know, somebody when you were playing at Tottenham, if somebody could watch the training session, if they're then playing you that weekend, what kind of impact do you think it would have on the 90 minutes?
So I think it's minimal. I mean, the only way, if you've got people spying, I mean, set plays are a big thing, certainly this season. So maybe you could see a few set place routines. Of course, if someone's not fit all week, I mentioned it yesterday, then maybe injuries and squad rotation. Oh, he ain't trained all week. Maybe he's not going to be fit. But that's about it. But also as well, a lot of these guys are friends. Conversations. I've been in dressing rooms before where I'm playing someone at the weekend, but he's a friend of mine, so we're messaging. He's like, "Oh, you ready for the weekend?" I'm not obviously giving anything away, but these conversations do happen. So spying is, I almost feel like it's a whole bunch of just time wasting.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think for what could happen to Southampton, I don't think it's worth it.
See, your words here are far more powerful than mine. Of course, you've been there, but from my perspective here, looking from the outside in, I feel like this is appalling. I feel like it would be so damaging. I feel like it would have a major impact.
Yeah.
If you could watch your opposition train, if you could find out what they're planning at set pieces, if you can hear them talking, like, you know, people can be very clever now with their espionage kits. He could have a mic that will pick up the conversations going on.
Yeah.
I feel like if that is proven, it's bent. It's out of order. And I think I'm with you. I think it needs to be a draconian punishment.
I think it will be. And I think the set plays and, again, fitness of players, they're probably the two major things. And, of course, if they're going through routines and you can hear volume and players talking and certain things, of course. But I just think for Southampton and for the EFL, they need to come to a decision quickly because the playoff final is the 23rd. So they haven't got long. And also, as well, they need to make a stance and say, this will not be tolerated.
Yeah.
Even if it's minimal gain, you're still trying to get an advantage, and also sporting integrity.
Yeah.
It just can't happen.
It can't happen. Listen, Middlesbrough apparently have evidence that Southampton also spied on at least 2 other sides this season. If that's the case, if they're serial spies, they're the Austin Powers of football.
Yeah.
This can't be acceptable.
Well, no, and that's why they're potentially going to lose their spot at Wembley. But then, if you're talking about other teams, more's going to be thrown at them. It almost feels like now, if there's 2 other teams that have come to the table with evidence that they've spied, it almost feels like for Southampton Football Club that just missing out on the playoffs and getting back to the Premier League isn't enough. There needs to be more.
Yeah, I agree. We are taking your calls on this. What do you think of a journalist asking the Southampton manager if he's a cheat? Get in touch. Let us know your opinion. 03717 22 33 James, you're a Southampton fan. Where do you sit on this debate?
Evening, gents. Hope you're well. Obviously, it's all being investigated at the moment, so we haven't actually got any definitive proof. Obviously, it doesn't look very good. But the fact you can go and do it, but it can't be within 72 hours of a game, is absolutely ludicrous in itself. And then obviously, he's got a live investigation going on, and we've seen in previous press conferences where he's walked out because he's been told, I can't talk about it, so don't talk about it. And then someone goes and asks him again. So obviously he's not going to just come out and say if and what happened. And again, like you say, it might not even be him. It could be like a tactician, like Benty said. A tactician could have gone there and seen their set plays, their penalties, etc. And he might not even have a clue with it. So I can't see how the squads and the fans have to take a punishment for someone else's doing. And like you said, if we're going into the Premier League, it's a completely different competition. So I don't know. Obviously, Leeds had that fine years ago, and it's all been rewritten since then. And I don't know. Hopefully, it's a fine. Obviously, anything more is a bit. I think kicking us down out of Wembley and everything is a bit over the top. Because
you know what though, James, that's why I do feel sorry for the fans and the players on the pitch, because the players wouldn't have cheated. Do you know what I mean? So they're the ones who've worked hard, put a run together, got themselves in this position, and I get it. It's one club at the end of the day, and you're all representing each other. So if that is the case, and even if you don't know anything about it, something needs to be done. Although it's harsh on the supporters, day out at Wembley, looking forward to it. The players have worked hard all season. It is harsh, but something needs to be done. And the 72-hour part, I do get it, because usually 72 hours before a game, you've got, on a Friday, you might go for a few set plays, and you'll do, I don't know, old v young or some kind of fun game. On the Thursdays when you do your tactical work.
Right.
Do the shape of the team potentially, or the way you're going to play. Like, you really drill it home on a Thursday.
So if you're watching the training on a Thursday, you can get some major information.
You could do, but it's very rare for a game where they've played Middlesbrough twice already, although 3 times. They're going to go, do you know what? We've learnt this, something new. But 72 hours, I do get that part.
Yeah, do you think it's the responsibility of the clubs to make sure that their training can't be spied upon? Like, if you think that this training ground, Rockliffe Hall, weirdly, I've been there, my wife's from the North East, it kind of backs onto a golf course. It's all very easy to move around. Do you think Middlesbrough need to take any responsibility here and make sure that it can't be?
Not really. I mean, it's hard. It's so hard. I mean, most training grounds are secure. But listen, at the end of the day, if someone wants to get in and try and take pictures or spy, they're going to get in regardless of what you do.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Let's stay with the phone lines now. Let's go to Travis, who's a Middlesbrough fan. Travis, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, so, hi boys, I love the show. I'm just about Darren's point, really, where he said it's a lack of respect asking him, but where's their respect for us?
Yeah, but that's what the manager, is it? The manager's not gone and spied and took the pictures. Do you know what I mean? If you want to ask that question to the CEO or, do you know what I mean, someone higher up, I get it, but the manager...
I don't know how much you've seen in the last hour, but there's a lot of stuff coming out linking the manager to the person who was caught. And
what's the link?
Like 6 other clubs.
He's like Taggart.
Very close, basically.
We'll define close, very close. That's very vague. I need to know exactly what that is.
Finds him quite important in his team. And when he won the Manager of the Month, he wasn't in that picture as well, because that was the day he was caught. But also, on the pitch as well, last night, they didn't show any respect to us. Like, Luke Ayling was discriminated against as well by one of their players.
Yeah, but I think that's under investigation, so we're not quite sure about that yet.
Regarding the links, there is some mileage to that. He's an intern analyst, according to the Daily Mail. So there is a link to the club.
Oh no, I'm not doubting to the club.
Also, Darren, do you know when we talk about this, you seem to insulate the manager. Like you say, we don't know if it's linked to the manager. Ultimately, the information that is gathered whilst the spying occurs, that's going to be passed to the manager. There's no point in doing it otherwise.
I get it, but then the manager's not responsible for where the information comes from. He's trusting these guys to say, get me the best information on Middlesbrough so we can win the game. He's not going to be asking questions. He ain't got time to ask the questions. Where does it come from?
You're a generous man, Mr.
No, just because I've sat in
You're a generous man.
So I've been in the rooms with managers and analysts, and the manager hasn't got time to say, where did this come from? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what have you got from me? Here's the information. All right, we'll go and put it into practice on the training pitch.
Yeah. What do you think should happen if it's found if they're found to have committed this offence?
They lose their spot at Wembley. They don't go up. Simple as that.
Imagine this situation now. So if you're Middlesbrough, your players, you're training as normal. You're training as if you won the game.
Yeah, get ready for it.
God, that's an amazing situation, isn't it? Really is an amazing situation. Right, we will continue taking your calls on this next because it is not going anywhere. What do you make of a journalist asking Southampton boss Tonda Eckert if he is a cheat? And what should the punishment be for Southampton for Spygate? 03717 223344. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent.
It's going to be a fun run. I mean, with the Premier League, I think it really is in our hands now. I can't see us giving it away with our remaining fixtures, especially Burnley at home next Monday night, which I will be going to.
Yeah, I feel as well, Man City will drop points. I really believe it. Bournemouth away. Iriola's last game, home game of the season, and they're fighting for Champions League. That's a tough game for Man City.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If obviously Aston Villa go and win the Europa League final, doesn't that open up
sixth place? Yeah.
Yeah. So Bournemouth have got it all to fight for.
Because Brighton have got two winnable games behind them as well, so they know they probably need 2 wins. Bournemouth.
Yeah, Brighton have been in great form as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But guys, I've got to tell you, and I know you guys have probably already been told, but a lot of rival fans listening to this are going to think I'm crazy. I actually, a few weeks ago, had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed on my forearm.
No, I don't believe you.
I really have. It's on my TikTok page. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of it, am I?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so if for anyone listening, it's called Arsenal.overflow. And yeah, you'll find it on TikTok. It's pinned at the top of my profile. I had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed alongside Thierry Henry and Emirates Stadium in the background because I do believe in this man. I do believe he is the one that's going to get us over that line, get us the trophies. And once these come in this season, I think we're just going to keep on going. Then I think the next couple of seasons we'll continue winning a lot more silverware.
Chris O'Dowd! When you get the offer to be the voice of a sheep,
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser. Well, how much of Rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man.
He's a dude. Kirsty and Phil!
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
Yes, Jack.
Darren Bent seal of approval. Finally, he's smiling.
Yeah, bit of Tupac, Dre,
Yeah.
California.
Not you didn't enjoy Boney M and Blondie.
No, listen, I enjoyed that, but Jack, I like that, Jack.
There you
Legend.
go. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll be asking for your worst football takes. Why are we
Starring
talking about
Rory
that?
Jennings.
Why are we talking about that? I feel seen. I'm triggered. But just quickly, Lionel Messi remains the highest paid player in the MLS with an annual base salary. This is just a base salary for Lionel Messi. Take a guess, Darren. What do you reckon? Base salary, Lionel Messi, highest paid player in the MLS. Yes.
210 mil.
No, 200 mil. No, base salary of 18.5 million quid.
Oh, shit, is he happy there? Ronaldo's just saying mad like 200 million.
Yeah,
more than that.
Slightly different.
I love
18 million quid though in America for Lionel Messi. Also, Paris Saint-Germain, they've made Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez one of their main targets next season. Is that a wind-up? If there's a club that doesn't need the brilliance of Julian Alvarez, surely it's Paris Saint-Germain's front line.
Oh, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. I'm missing one. Who's that? Doué, but there's who's the other one?
Barcola comes. I mean, it's endless, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got so many. I feel like I'm missing a big one at PSG. Maybe not, but
it's an endless array of talent. Yeah. And now they might add Julian Alvarez.
I did hear a little bit of talk about Kvaratskhelia potentially leaving.
I think he's brilliant.
I'd love to have him at Arsenal.
I think he's absolutely brilliant. He strikes me. You know, when Chelsea were good, that would have been such a Roman Abramovich signing. We would have just gone and got Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah,
I'm just sure he.
Yeah, he would have gone. Do you know what? I don't care what
it takes.
He's coming.
He's coming to Chelsea.
Yeah.
If Alvarez goes to Paris Saint-Germain, it just doesn't feel fair. How highly do you rate Alvarez?
Yeah, serious. When Arsenal, I'd love Arsenal to get him in the summer. I just think he's got everything. Can score, can take free kicks, can shoot with both feet. He's intelligent. Can score big goals in big games. I'd love him, Arsenal, to get him.
Yeah,
but listen, if he's going to go there and Kvaratskhelia is available, feel free to come to the Emirates.
Yeah. No, thank you. Now, we are taking your calls on Southampton's Spygate. A journalist asked Southampton's manager if he is a cheat. He said it explicitly and he said it directly. Are you a cheat? Is that fair? Or is that showing a lack of respect? Let us know. 03717 22 3344. We're going to speak to Chester. Chester is a Middlesbrough fan. How are you, Chester?
Hi there, guys. Thanks for having me on. I just wanted to say, I think the whole situation is really, really sad. You've got a Southampton side who, already has an advantage over other teams because of the parachute payments. And you can, again, that's a separate issue. And the fact that they've, resorted to this, I mean, it's really sad. And I think ultimately, if whatever the punishment is, if that punishment results in them still having the chance to go to the Premier League, I don't think it's good enough. I think if that happens, then it's a win for Southampton.
So, Chester, what do you think the punishment should be then?
Well, I don't think they should play in the final.
Is that enough?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, this is a new precedent, and whatever the EFL decide to do, that's going to carry through into potential cases in the future. So whatever they decide to do now, it's going to have consequences. And it's very difficult because obviously it's not the fault of the Southampton fans. But if you don't make an example of teams in these situations, then unfortunately it could well happen again. And it's not fair on anyone involved, but you've got to make a strong example, I think.
Agreed.
I kind of agree, but I think Chester's been incredibly kind there. I don't understand
probably will do.
You know, yesterday he was being very magnanimous. He was saying, it's not nice on anyone. You feel sorry for a lot of people in this circumstance. I'm like, no. Middlesbrough are the victims here. The only people that should have any sympathy sent their way, it's Middlesbrough Football Club.
Yeah.
There should be absolute outrage.
I'm sure he probably is, but the reason why I think that he would be more if it had been they were still allowed to kind of progress, get to the final and potentially go up. But because there's now all of a sudden an investigation and there is a chance that Middlesbrough might be at Wembley anyway, I think he's almost just holding. But I'm sure if a verdict came out and they go, no, we're going to give him a fine, but they can still play at Wembley.
This amount of smoke is going to cause a major problem.
Yeah, it's not great.
Because there's so much conversation.
I do feel for the fans as well, in his right, Chester, because Southampton fans haven't done anything wrong, but at some point you've got to make a stand. And if that means you throw the book at a club, and it's not relatable, it's completely different, but you know that when you talk about racism, and you talk about a nation being racist, their supporters being racist and chanting whatever, I also throw them out a World Cup or European competition. And they go, yeah, but it's not the players' fault. But at the end of the day, you have to.
You want one organisation.
Exactly, one organisation. Yeah. You have to be punished to make a stand. And I think in this situation, Southampton, if they're proved to be found guilty, they need to be punished.
I completely agree with you. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's speak to Ben. Ben, you're a Hull fan. What do you make of all this?
It's a load of nonsense, I think, lads.
Go on.
I like what the journalist said, to be honest. If I think they're going to get away with it, then someone's got to be up front to him, doesn't he? He's got a link to him. It's one of his staff.
Yeah, so why is it nonsense? You agree with the investigation, you agree with the journalist putting it on the manager?
Yeah, I think what they've done is a load of nonsense, so, I don't know why they're doing it. Like everyone else has been saying, you can go online and find all these videos about watching whatever team, whatever player you want to watch. I get that you're going to maybe see a bit of shape and a few injuries, but it's just not right. It's just straight cheating.
You know what, Ben, as well? It's definitely one of them where I'm not quite sure the risk is worth the reward. It makes no sense.
You look at the run they went on in the league.
Unbelievable.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know.
How linked was all this to the run that they went on?
Well, it depends what the teams they were spying against.
Well, this is it. This is what we need to find out.
I just think if they're potentially going to get thrown out of the playoffs and don't go to Wembley, when I look back at this scenario of the spying, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you risk all that just for the injuries, the set play? It's just not worth it.
But you never know what you're going to find. You never know what you're going to find. So yeah, maybe the top line is that you don't find out too much.
No.
But you also might unearth some gold. It's like those people who go out with metal detectors on Brighton Pier. You never know what you're going to find. You could find out something that actually leads to victory, leads you to the Premier League.
Yeah, but
could unearth a gem. You never know. Still to come, we're going to be joined by former British heavyweight boxer Audley Harrison. But first, it's time for No Googling. Three British players share the record for the most yellow cards in a Premier League season, with 14 bookings in one season. Three British players. One of them is Lee Cattermole. Is that what you've written, Lee Cattermole?
Yeah.
One of them is Lee Cattermole. We want to know the other two.
Okay.
Any ideas?
No, but it'll come to me.
No. Well, you'll find out after this.
I look back on it, it's probably one of the best shows we've ever put on. The main event was just unbelievable. Unbelievable fight. Two absolute warriors who gritted their teeth and gave everything. And the place was rammed out, it was sold out, and everybody there, they were just enthralled by it.
And of course, we saw what happened in the early moments. Frank Dubois picked himself up from the canvas twice. after all the question marks about Hart, and I know you bristled at these questions before the fight, but is Daniel now no longer a man to be doubted?
Well, look at the punches that he took. And he got up and he gritted his teeth and got on with it, and he's matured. And he boxed extremely well. I watched it back on the replay on TV, and I thought, and actually looked better on the replay than he did when I was watching it. I thought he was excellent, and he was so good afterwards. The way he praised Fabio for his, the part he played in the fight. It was magnificent. And anybody who doubts Daniel now, I don't know what planet they're on. I mean, he's matured mentally, and I believed in him. We've stuck with him. We believed in him and stuck with him, and he delivered for everybody.
I think you thought the Hart issue, the Hart question, was a valid one before the fight.
Well,
Simon.
I didn't think it was a valid one, but I thought it was a legitimate narrative. I don't think the Hart question is any more relevant to Daniel Dubois than it was to Zerda Ramirez last week when David Benavidez knocked him and he went down on his knee twice. I think it's a...
This Spygate saga could rumble into next week. That's the view of football legal expert Stefan Borson.
It's a very, very difficult situation for this independent commission. I don't see how anybody can know that it's heading in the direction of sporting sanction, notwithstanding the fact that clearly, if you spy on a team, the reason is to gain an advantage.
We understand Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. It ended a 2-1 home win for Saints after extra time in a tense playoff semi. Danny Murphy's told talkSPORT it goes to show there's not that much to gain from spying anyway.
The impact of what they did, although it's wrong on the pitch, as Simon said, the evidence of the game tells you there was no impact.
This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the Southampton defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting even closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least $75 million for the winger. And some breaking news from the world of cricket. Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad. With an opening spot available, Durham batter Emilio Gray has received his first call-up. Get all the latest on our website at talksport.com.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bench. Still to come, we'll have some fun with the best of talkSPORT. Now, though, a few moments ago, we brought you the second of this evening's No Googling questions. The question was, 3 British players share the record for the most yellow cards in a Premier League season. 14 bookings in one Premier League season. One of the players was Lee Cattermole.
That's the one I knew.
There are 2 other players that have got 14 bookings in the same season.
Sparky, because you said Welsh, I went Mark Hughes.
Yes. So I'll give you a clue. Still stay on the Welsh theme. Stay on the Welsh theme and it's not Craig Bellamy. Come on, this is a tap-in now. It's not James Collins. You're looking Wales. You're looking not Craig Bellamy, not Gareth Bale. You're looking central midfielder. Leicester City central midfielder.
Oh, of course. Robbie Savage.
There we go. Right. There we go. Well done. Let's turn our attention now to a bit of boxing because it's a busy old time in the heavyweight division. And to run through it all, we're delighted to have been joined in the studio by former British heavyweight Audley Harrison. Welcome, Audley. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Very well. Thanks for having me.
Audley, we have to start with the fight from over the weekend. It was huge, wasn't it? Daniel Dubois survived 2 knockdowns to eventually stop Fabio Wardley to become a 2-time world champion at the age of 28. What did you make of that fight overall?
Yeah, so I flew in, went up there, and I was glad that I saw it live. Great little tussle, great little matchup. He got knocked down, and he came up. It was a flash knockdown, and he had learnt from his previous fights, looking at his corner and just eating. People say, "Oh, he's going to quit." No. He had a game plan. But the big thing about this fight, Wardley was the champion, yeah. And people say, "Oh, the fight went on too long." Wardley was the champion, and he kind of got beaten up in terms of what Dubois was doing behind the jab. All he added was a jab. He added a jab. He added the move back, and because he was using that jab, Wardley couldn't land the right hand, and he basically just walked him down and gave him an old school boxing fundamental beat up. He got beaten up by Wardley, and I think they kind of made it go on maybe a round too long. I thought he should have been rescued by his corner, but I thought it was like, boxing wise, if you look at big fights, like look at Nigel Benn and Eubanks, look at Lennox Lewis, Bruno, like those were technically high level fights and they were wars. This wasn't that in terms of the technical. I didn't think it was the same level of technical expertise that you saw with those other fights. People saying it's the greatest fight of all time. I don't think it was that. But I think it was a great tussle, and I'm just so happy for Team Dubois, because using boxing fundamentals, they were able to dominate and beat Wardley.
Is that what you're talking about, Audley, in terms of, was it the boxer against kind of the brawler? Because what Fabio's done is incredible. White collar background, no amateur pedigree. But you saw, as the fight progressed, the amateur background that Daniel had, which is why he managed, the longer the fight went on, he managed to kind of dismantle Fabio.
Yeah, I 100%. Boxing fundamentals has kind of got lost a little bit in the rise, the meteoric rise of Wardley, because he's gone all the way through, and he beat Joe Parker, and he's now got a title, and it's like you're wondering, how the guys is boxing that bad that somebody can come from white collar and go all the way through? Yeah. So I'm glad Dubois stopped that using boxing fundamentals, because all Wardley was doing was trying to land that big right hand, and then his defense was like, he didn't have he was using his face as his defense, and that's not boxing, So I'm glad he won, and I think Wardley showed great heart, great determination, but you need more than that to be able to last long in terms of the heavyweight division.
How far can Daniel go? Because there have been question marks around Daniel in terms of his heart. You look at the Joe Joyce fight, you look at the Usyk, the second fight, where he looked like he went down on one knee and was able to walk to his corner. But we've also seen what he's done to Hergovic, Joshua, now Wardley. Yeah. How highly do you rate him, and where can he go?
Yeah, I rate him highly, because he's come back. Setbacks paved the way for comebacks, and it's a learning game. And don't lose the fight, don't lose the lesson. And there was lessons in when he had those losses, and obviously they tried to blame Dubois, and they tried to blame the father. But I'm glad they brought them back, and he's learning boxing now. You saw that with the knockdown. He looked at his corner, he got up. You saw that with the double jab, the single jab. So he has a high ceiling. He's already beaten Joshua. Yeah. He's a 2-time champ, and he's only 28. So he has a high ceiling. He's still got a lot. He's in his prime, and he's got another 4 or 5 years where he could dominate. Obviously, you got AJ, you got Fury now, but they're coming to the end. But he's on his way up. So I think a 2-time champion at 28 is amazing, and looking forward to his next step.
Yeah, in fact, Frank Warren was on talkSPORT yesterday. He said that he could see a world where Daniel Dubois could actually be a future Hall of Famer. What do you think about that?
Well, he's already a 2-time champion. But to be a Hall of Famer, you need longevity. It's like they're talking about Moses Otama right now, but it's not about winning the title, it's about holding on to it and the longevity. Lennox became a great because he defended his title so many times. Kawasaki became a great because they defended his title and having those world title fights. So he has to have, not just win it once and lose it, he has to defend the title multiple times, and that's where you get the greatness, and that's where you get the Hall of Fame sticker.
Well, listen, later on in this year, obviously, finally, it looks like we've got that fight if AJ can get past that Christian Prenga, AJ versus Fury. Where do you stand on that fight? And is it still, for you, the biggest fight in British boxing history? That's what some people are calling it.
I'm smiling right now. Like I got the chills going through me right now thinking about that fight. It's the same way I felt about Lennox Tyson. I flew out there to Memphis. It doesn't matter that it's late. We're all going to watch it. We're all going to be excited about it. It's going to be an amazing fight, an amazing event. So it is late, but it's okay. You still got, they're still in there. They're coming to the end of their prime, but and just like the styles make fights. It's going to be Fury's character and his personality and his boxing ability and Joshua's boxing ability. It's a great clash of styles. I saw the way Joshua looked at Fury after his last fight, and if looks could kill, that's what you saw, and that is genuine. You can't fake that.
No.
Fury is like winding him up, but Joshua wants to go and go in there and knock his head off. So that's going to be the fight. It's going to be back and forth tussle, and we don't know which way it's going to play out, and that's why the whole country needs to watch it. And I'm excited just thinking about it. It's going to be a great fight, and it needs to happen after AJ's next bout. They can't hold it for one more. Like, oh, Fury said, I want to have. No, you've had your one bout. Let him have his. It's fair, and then they got a fight, and I think it's going to be something special.
And what way do you think it's going to go, Audie? Can we get an early prediction from you?
So if I'm looking at Joshua's eyes and what he's thinking, he's going to go in there trying to kill him. But that may not be enough because of Fury's used to like ducking and diving and staying off the line. So when you talk about which way, you can't put your heart on either way. I can make an argument for Joshua and I can make an argument for Fury. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be, while it lasts, I think it's going to, it could go the distance because Fury's got a great chin and he doesn't quit. There's no quitting either of them, to be fair. But I think it could be a distance fight, which means you always run the risk of it being a draw and there being controversy.
If it is a distance fight, I don't know why. If it's going to be an AJ win, I feel it's going to come by knockout, obviously, because he's a big puncher. But I feel the longer the fight goes on, it just favours Fury because his boxing IQ, his footwork, his speed, his hands. So I think if AJ's going to win it, it's going to have to be by stoppage.
Yeah, to some degree you're correct, but he's working right now with the Usyk team and he's developing some boxing fundamentals because he is a bit robotic and he is a bit statued, like trying to land those big shots. So you're correct in that regard. But him working with Usyk and doing some of those stuff that he's doing is actually going to make it a little different. He's not just going to look for the knockout, I don't think. If he's still working with the Usyk team, he's going to add in those boxing fundamentals that he actually needed to add. So it'll make it a little different.
Talking of Usyk, he's got a fight coming up in 10 days' time. He's fighting Rico Verhoeven, who's a former kickboxing champion. This fight's taking place in Egypt. You following this one at all?
Yeah, I'm following it, but I'm not taking it seriously. And in terms of like, there's no challenge and there's no test, I don't think, for Usyk. But it's like boxing for 100 years. Sugar Ray Robinson used to come to Paris and have these warm-up fights. Now you're seeing it with the influencers like what Floyd Mayweather's doing and some of the others having these fights. If you want to have a warm-up, go have a warm-up. There's no risk to him in that fight, in my opinion, and they make a little money and keep the story going.
How high did you rate him? Because I've heard some people on this station talk about him being one of the best heavyweights on that ever because of where he's come from, cruiserweight, and he's come up to the heavyweight. He's dominated the heavyweight division, beating all the best of this era. How high did you rate Usyk?
Yeah, I rate him highly. Obviously, this era, he's the number one for sure. When you look at boxing and you go back in history, and you talk about the greatest of all time, I mean, one of the people that was modelled on by, and nobody doesn't even talk about him, it was Jack Johnson in terms of the heavyweights, right? He was one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and Muhammad Ali kind of modelled himself on him because it's part of the thing is what you do in the ring and out of the ring. It's not just in the ring that makes you the greatest,
of course.
And so Muhammad Ali for me is always going to be the greatest of all time, but definitely Usyk has to go in the top 10. Somewhere in terms of heavyweights, not the whole right across the board. That's a whole different conversation. But I think Usyk is in the top 10 for sure. But I don't put him ahead of people like Lennox because I think Lennox dominated when the champions were like, it was just next level, and he was dominating and came back and won it. With the rematches that he had. So I think Lennox is a different kettle of fish, and I couldn't even put Lennox number one. When you talk about can you put him as number one, I think it's hard.
Yeah, I agree. Audley, thank you so much for coming in. Really, really fantastic. Fantastic to talk to you. Yeah. And remember, heavyweight season continues on DAZN this Saturday. Dave Allen takes on former world title contender and a giant of a man, Filip Hrgović. This really is a Dave versus Goliath live from Doncaster, and Dave fancies his chances in his biggest fight to date. Then next Saturday, May the 23rd, it's glory in Giza as Usyk faces Dutch kickboxing legend for the WBC heavyweight title. Join DAZN Ultimate now and watch Dave Allen Plus get 12 or more pay-per-view fights a year, including Usyk versus Rico at no extra cost.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
A huge thank you to you, Audley. Thank you so much for coming in to speak to us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Really, really do appreciate it. That there was British heavyweight Audley Harrison. And next up, we'll be bringing you the best of talkSPORT from the last 24 hours. You're listening to Drive with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Ben.
Oh, was it? Okay, so yeah. This is Never Ever by All Saints, but why are we playing it, I hear you ask? Well, I think this is nuts what I'm going to tell you now. I was out Saturday night, with our friends John and Emma, right? Went for a curry. And, are you all right?
Sorry.
Turn it up, he wants more of it. Turn it up a bit.
Sorry, no, carry on, sorry.
Go on.
Ready?
Here we go, you got a good bit now. Come on. Vocabulary runs through my head. The alphabet runs right from... Oh, he's going to struggle with that. Oh, you got it.
What a tune, by the way.
So I was out with my friends on Saturday night. I went out for a curry. And John's wife, Emma, said to me, I've never, ever, bearing in mind she's our age, right? I mean, I'm a little bit older than you. Ever had a cup of tea or coffee. And I went, I don't believe you.
I don't believe that.
And she said, I don't want to quote the All Saints, I promise you I've never ever. And I went, you must, like, maybe 20 years. I've never, ever had a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And I find that insane.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah. That is bizarre, isn't it? Now, when I was talking to your producer, he's not mine, Posh Ollie. Yeah, very posh, by the way, Ollie.
Yeah, Wimbledon.
Yeah, I'm sure you must have walked into this building and looked for the Times radio and just taken a left rather than a right.
So you went to Oxford Uni?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Way too clever for talkSPORT.
Oxford and Cambridge wanted him, and he chose Oxford.
Have you noticed all the scripts are written in his words?
I tried. Simon Jordan's son.
I tried. It could be.
He's like, stop it, guys. Stop
he
it.
just said it by never ever. Okay.
You're making me blush. Stop.
Who's that going to be?
Simon's
Oh, right.
son.
Chris O'Dowd! When you get the offer to be the voice of a sheep...
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser! How much of Rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man. He's
Kirsty and Phil!
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Now, still to come, we'll be asking for your worst football takes. I don't have any.
Oh, you've had it. What's the Haaland one again? Give me that shout. The Haaland one was?
It was unlucky.
No. I need you to tell me what you said about Haaland.
I suggested that Erling Haaland may find it difficult to acclimatise to the Premier League. But there was logic. Do you want to know what the rationale? I heard it, people laughing, gallery laughing. Do you know what the logic was? Can I just tell you the logic? You tell me if it was like completely misguided. Okay. From the Bundesliga, coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, it hasn't been a great track record. At the time, Timo Werner had come to Chelsea. Timo Werner would be in an all-time terrible Chelsea 11. Like if you ask me, get my worst ever Chelsea 11, the two centre forwards, Chris Sutton, Timo Werner. So Werner didn't work. Kai Havertz didn't work. Jadon Sancho.
That did work.
Kai Havertz didn't work.
Hold on, you having a laugh?
Kai Havertz didn't do.
He scored one of the biggest goals in your club's history.
So did Michy Batshuayi, but he's not a legend.
No, he didn't.
Michy Batshuayi won us a league at the Hawthorns.
But did he win score a Champions League final?
No, but he's like big goals can be scored by average players.
No, I don't think Havertz is unfair.
Werner, Havertz, Jadon Sancho had come from the Bundesliga. Again, didn't work. So I just thought maybe.
I think you've been harsh with the Havertz one.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Havertz is decent.
Well, that's where I went with it anyway. So we are asking you for your worst football takes. Now, though...
That could be the worst ever, that. Haaland.
Alan Hansen, you don't win anything with kids?
No, yours is worse than that.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you. It's an honour. It's an honour to share the studio with you. Now, though, it's time for this.
Get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Do you fancy 25 grand in your hand completely tax-free? At talkSPORT, our competition's just got a whole lot bigger, but with even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. To celebrate, we're giving you the chance to win big with 25 grand. Get your entry in now. Here's what you need to do. For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. That's text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by the 18th of May 2026 at 4 p.m. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full terms and conditions do apply at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN, just the word WIN, to 83338 now. Now it's time for this. This is the best of talkSPORT and Friends, where we run you through some of the best and recent highlight moments from across talkSPORT and our sister stations. We're going to kick things off with last night's sports bar, where the boys were discussing Spygate. Here's an interesting analogy from Jason Cundy.
You know, you're in the bedroom with the lucky Mrs. James, and then all of a sudden some bloke's at the window and he's got a ladder up looking in, and you've left the curtains open. Whose fault are the curtains open? Whose fault is that?
Yeah, but you can compare that to any crime, man. You've already made
Shut the curtains, Jimbo!
Oh,
you can't get away with that. What do you mean?
You've made a ridiculous analogy already.
No, shut the curtains, Jimbo!
It's mad. You can't be. You're allowed to get your freak on with your curtains open, aren't you?
Yeah, but you run the risk, no?
No, but people don't just... You can't just, like, allow voyeurs to go around and go, well, the windows are open. You can't just go up to somebody's window, peer through it, and go, actually, you left the windows open, this is your fault.
No, because first of all, if you're peering through my bedroom window, you've come onto my grounds. Yeah. So that is illegal. But, yeah, to close the curtains, man.
Yeah, he's a mad one, Jason Cundy. I'll tell you what, if you weren't famous, do you think you'd be a good spy?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, trust me.
No, you're blatant. No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
It's funny how people see themselves. You're not. No,
No, I would be.
No, you're not. You would not be a good spy. Nah, I'd be a good spy.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would. Mate, I'm nimble and small.
Yeah, but I just... Yeah, no, you wouldn't.
I'm nimble and small. You'd never see me coming. I'm like
you got that face as a spy. So, you wouldn't... No way.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. The boys are taking your calls from 10 p.m. this evening, following a massive clash between Man City and Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
Over to this morning's breakfast show. Here's Gabriel Bonlaho telling us all about the jobs he does at home.
She puts my clothes out every morning. She packs my suitcase for holidays, what I'm going to wear, and she packs my
That's insane.
case when I go away for work. Yeah, I've got my jobs around the house. You know, I've got a.
What's your job?
1 second.
I mean,
anything goes wrong in the house.
Yeah,
I
don't do that.
I take control of. I do.
How'd you change your plug?
Say again.
How'd you change your plug?
Easy, mate.
What colour's on the left?
Don't worry about that.
What colour's on the right?
I change light
Yeah,
bulbs. I do the meter readings.
From 1 to 10, how would Mrs. J rate your work around the house?
Bad. No good. I don't do anything either. I'm terrible around the house, but I do pack my own suitcase. Like that was like juvenile behaviour there from Gabby, wasn't it? You don't pack your own suitcase if you're going on holiday.
Yeah, it's weird that.
Yeah, you got. How do you,
No, but do you know what I will do is get my stuff out.
And
then
let your missus pack it.
she'll pack it back. She packs better than
So
me.
you just lay it out.
Yeah, but I'll get everything out and then she'll fold and put
You
it in
just
there.
lay it out. What are you, just salt and Brunei?
My
You
packing.
just put your things out there.
No, but like my packing is atrocious. I'll waste so much space because I don't fold properly. So you know what I mean? That's why I do that. What's the worst job to do at home?
I've got very, very specific roles. I don't do too many jobs at home.
Well, can you just? I need one.
I don't like anything dishwasher related. I try and swerve.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's annoying, boring, so boring.
Yeah.
Whatever else I could do, I would do. Do you know what? I've got rabbits. You got any pets?
No. You got rabbits?
I've got rabbits. Yeah.
Okay.
Wisey and Gianluca.
Honestly, this sums you up. That
little Wisey and little Gianluca, but I got them for my kid. She told me she was going to look after them. They've become my responsibility. I have to clean out the hutch. I have to go through, buy them hay. That has become a real thorn in my side.
Gabby, we're back on the breakfast show from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning alongside none other than, I ain't mentioning his name.
And let's finish with this afternoon's Ruston and Baker. Here's Max Ruston discussing being a bad boy growing up.
Fish in the pockets and find the pound coins.
Yeah.
And I'd run to the shop and I stole money from my parents to buy the football stickers.
Wow.
And then, because I'd like to think I wasn't not a stupid man, but I decided to open them at the top of the house, which was my parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
Which is not where I should have done it. I was grounded for a week.
Thieving from his own mother. How would your mother have reacted if you thieved from her?
Should have sent me to the wardrobe to get the belt.
Really?
Yeah.
No nonsense.
I knew straight. Trust me, I knew growing up.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have got away with that one either. Max and Charlie return at 9 a.m. this Saturday morning as the game day warm-up returns. Of course, you can find all of our shows on the talkSPORT app, where you can swipe between talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, and all of our other sister stations, so you never miss a beat. Next up, we're looking for your footballing hot takes, and we'll tell you why we're doing that shortly after James Corden has had his say on Harry Kane's England place on this morning's breakfast show. 03717 223344. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings, and Darren Bent.
I've spent the season, in fact, the last few seasons, absolutely hammering VAR as one of the most disgraceful, shocking, inconsistent, outrageous and pathetic inventions in the history of world sport. And I would like to make a sincere and humble apology right now to VAR, which I think is a massively misunderstood, brilliant invention that I think should be the template for world sport for the next few decades. No, look, let's be serious. I think that I don't like VAR. I think VAR has sucked the joy out of watching football. I think the constant delays, the constant waiting around, the constant ruining of magical moments because you're never quite sure if it's going to count. I don't like any of it. And I would rather go back, honestly, to the days when we relied on a guy in a black outfit who was going to decide whether it was a goal or not, and with the help of his linesman. Because VAR, I don't think any real football fan likes this, because it's so inconsistent. And ultimately, it depends anyway on human beings who've shown themselves to be remarkably frail when it comes to making good decisions. Now, having said that, yesterday, I felt that they made the right decision. They took 5 minutes to get there, and obviously as an Arsenal fan, I would say that. But most independent observers think that there was a clear, I think, double foul on Ray. You've got Pablo with his arm trying to throttle him, and you've got another guy pulling his shirt from the back. So I think it was definitely a foul. But has it been consistent? Have Arsenal got away with murder with similar situations?
Southampton are in the Championship playoff final on paper, but will it stay that way? It's been suggested that the direction of travel is a sporting sanction for Saints, should those spying charges stick. Football legal expert Stefan Borson has told talkSPORT it's one thing accusing something and an entirely different thing proving it.
Even if the Independent Commission says that we think that there's a potential of a sporting advantage that's been accrued over the season from spying on other teams, they would still have to show within an arbitration that it actually affected them.
Yep.
And it's pretty hard to show that. So the loss of a chance claim is going to be pretty small anyway.
It's now claimed Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. The hierarchy are also understood to have considered an approach for Unai Emery. Now, Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least $75 million for the winger. Danny Murphy isn't convinced he'll get the minutes.
Unless Munich have got some sort of plans, or Elise is off somewhere, or Diaz is off somewhere, okay, he's got confidence in himself, fine. I'm sure he has. He's that type of lad. But from a footballing perspective, as a player, I'm trying to look at it from his point of view other than the financial gain. You're going to be sitting on the bench.
And Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad along with Ollie Pope, with an opening spot available for Durham batter Emilio Gay. He's received his first call-up. There's plenty on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Penn.
Erling Haaland will not live up to the expectation. If he scores 15, it would be a really good season.
Jeez, Rory, wow.
See, that was unnecessary. I don't get any warning.
Hey,
See,
I didn't say it.
You knew about this. I think that there's like a little conspiracy going on between you and the boys in the gallery.
Is that AI?
No, that wasn't
actually,
AI.
Did you say it?
That was genuinely me.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was genuinely me. Still to come, we'll bring you the latest edition of IMDb. But now there's a huge game in the Premier League title race tonight, and it's live right here on talkSPORT.
Haaland going through the middle, trying to get them back in the game. Oh, he smashed it over Pickford and scored.
You have to think about doing your job out on the pitch. What I can try to think of in the game is to try to help Man City win the football game.
It finishes here on what feels like a defining afternoon. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1. How did it affect your mood when you saw the goal?
Crystal Palace.
They're not given.
Crystal Palace.
Jumping is like Kwa with the flick. Sa! hits it in for 3.
This is the standard we created here at the training ground, that we are not just playing for our results, we are playing to improve.
It's right-footed, it's in! Oh my word, fathers! In the last second of the game, with the last kick of the game, Doku has equalised, and he may just have kept the title race alive.
Yes, that's right. Manchester City host Crystal Palace live on talkSPORT tonight, knowing that they need to win in order to keep the title race alive. A draw or a defeat will mean that Arsenal can wrap the title up against Burnley live on talkSPORT on Monday. We'll be building up to that one in more detail a little later on. But now, award-winning actor and West Ham fan James Corden joined Andy Goldstein and Gabby Agbonlahor on The Breakfast Show this morning. And he had this to say on how England should line up at the World Cup this summer.
People are going to say I'm mad for this, but I even wonder if later in the tournament, if we get quarterfinals, semi-finals, I wonder if there's an argument for not starting Kane and bringing him on, knowing that these games might go to extra time and penalties, which is absolutely...
I'm sure rotation
absolutely,
will be key.
Yeah, but not starting your captain is a huge call, so I'm not sure this is something that they'd ever do. But I wonder if you want Harry Kane at the end of games rather than the first 70 minutes of games.
Well, I suppose the question is, do you want to try and win the game early or make sure you try not to lose it towards the end, right?
Well, I think Harry Kane does drop off, doesn't he, a lot into that 10 position, conserve energy.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll do that even more during the World Cup.
Yeah, I think, I do. But also the question is, who plays, who comes on if it isn't Harry Kane?
Yeah.
Darren Bent, what do you make of that?
So, listen, there's some method behind the madness. I mean,
oh come on!
No, there's a method behind the madness in terms of preserving energy. But I'm playing Harry Kane every single game of the World Cup, regardless. I'll take him. I'd rather start Kane and take him off when England are winning games. But for me, Harry Kane this season for Bayern Munich, over 50 goals, has been top. Now there is an argument when going into tournaments. Certainly the last couple, he hasn't looked as sharp as maybe he has previous because he's played a lot of games, but I'm starting him every game, and I'm starting Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing him on for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because the game might be gone by then.
No.
He starts every game.
Do you know this modern approach? And I think people have stopped calling them substitutes. They started calling them finishers, like starters and finishers.
But I do agree with that.
No.
Some players I do, yeah.
Football is such a simple game on some level. Start your best players. It would be the most foolish thing to do to not start Harry Kane and go, do you know what, we're going to actually preserve him, we're going to utilise him in the final 20 minutes of the game. We'd be 3-0 down or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you start your best players.
But do you know what I would do? If England beat Ghana and Croatia first two, and they're comfortable, then maybe the Panama game you go, do you know what,
rest him. Yeah, that's different.
But I start Harry Kane more than not because I just think he's one of the best.
If I've understood James Corden's theory there, he's suggesting that you don't start him in a must-win knockout game in order to have the luxury of bringing him on.
Yeah, no, I'm starting him and Jude Bellingham. I think they're so important to England, and listen, Thomas Tuchel knows that, but I think he will need rest where he can, and I think Panama, if they get the job done early, Croatia, Ghana, then I think Panama, you look at it and go, there's an opportunity here for us to give him a few minutes, give him a bit of rest, but going into the tournament, he's playing every game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And off the back of that terrible take from James Corden, we're asking you for your worst ever footballing take.
The floor's yours, because you've come with about 10 in the last couple of hours. So
I don't think this is true. I feel like I'm slandered.
No,
nobody makes TikToks when I get things right.
No,
that's the problem.
The two that I can remember from you, and I was going to pick up one on you, but I thought, do you know what? I'll wait for this.
Oh, God.
Was the foul on David Raya. You went in heavily straight after the game and said what?
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad. That's a mea culpa. But that's the only time I've ever been wrong, and that happened like the other week. That happened the other day.
The
Haaland, with the jury's still out on Haaland.
That's like a Hall of Fame shout. That
what, the Haaland one?
Yeah.
Well, do you think that goes down as the worst ever? Yeah. So I said that he's gonna struggle to acclimatise to life in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He scored 52 goals and won the treble and was probably robbed of a Ballon d'Or.
Oh, and he also broke the Premier League goal scoring record in a season.
Yeah, that could actually be the worst ever shout.
Ever.
Is it worse than Alan Hansen? You won't win anything with kids.
Oh, it's tough because of what they went on to achieve.
Do you know the?
You're the modern Hansen.
The modern day Alan, mate. I'll take that all day long. What about you? Have you had any of your takes that have turned out to be an absolute shocker?
Do you know what? I've had a couple, right? But one I think was close, but people came for me. I said that Kane was better than Aguero, right? Which back then, people lost their minds. Right? I didn't think it was that bad. And now you go, well, look at where the two kind of careers have gone, Kane and Aguero. Do
you still think that? Do you still think Kane is a better player overall than Aguero?
Yeah.
Better centre forward?
Yeah.
So if you were picking one centre forward, you would
I'm
pick
taking Kane,
over Aguero?
Yeah. Okay, you just tell me one thing that Aguero does better than Kane. He's quicker, I'll give you that, but give me something he's better at.
Just goals, overall, just goal scoring, just finishing.
You having a laugh?
I think Sergio Aguero.
Kane's better in the air. He's better shooting from distance. He's better at caressing the ball in the corner. He's every type of finish. He's better both-footed.
Better under pressure. Who's better under pressure when it most matters?
Kane.
What?
Well, it's big there because you're going to go back to that one moment.
Well, I'm going to go whenever it most matters for Man City. Sergio Aguero's at the epicentre of it, probably at the best ever.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Right, in terms of pressure moments,
big moment.
Harry Kane's most pressurised moment of his career was probably the second penalty in Qatar.
Wait, what, the one that he blasted over?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Pressure moment.
But I think there is more to Kane.
Okay, so that is that the worst in your career?
No, I said
your worst ever take is suggesting that Kane and Aguero.
No, that was why I got.
Because that's not bad.
Oh, well, I got a lot of flack for that. I got a lot of flack when I suggested after the FA Cup.
You're good at this because that means you barely make it. Because if that's as bad as it gets, I'd consider that.
No, listen, people will probably messaging other ones that I forgot about, but that feels like the one I got the most flack for. But also, after Arteta won the FA Cup, I said that he was better than Poch. All right. And
Arteta better than Pochettino.
Now I think I've been proved right.
Yeah,
right with that.
I think.
But at the time, people were, are you crazy? But my argument to that was, at that time, even Arteta's first job at Arsenal, he gets to his first major final, and he's found a way to get them over the line straight away. Yeah. We were still waiting for Poch to get Spurs over the line to win something.
Here's one that people got very animated about. Arsenal fans got very animated about. I said something on talkSPORT not that long ago. I said Unai Emery is a better manager than Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
That's not going to age well though.
It might not, but right now you'd have to say that's correct. But look what if you talk about lifetime achievement award, the guy's won 4 Europa Leagues.
Yeah,
that's absolutely look what he's done at Villa.
Yeah,
I think for Unai at Arsenal, it was just a case of wrong place, wrong time. Like, a bit like Man United, whoever was going to follow Wenger and Fergie was ultimately always going to struggle. Yeah. If Unai came in a little bit later, then I think it would have been completely different.
Yeah.
But going in straight after Wenger, after he'd built this club, and at the time Arsenal was on their knees as well, it just didn't work for him.
Have you got anything else wrong? Any other major stinkers?
Yeah, there'd be loads. But I mean,
nothing you can think of.
Nothing, but there'd be loads.
Yeah. I remember being at Stamford Bridge and my dad, John Terry came on.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, I don't think this boy's got it.
Oh wow!
It's a bad shout. It's a bad shout.
That's age bad.
Bad shout. Yeah, it's age. John Terry's the best centre half in the Premier League era.
So I'd have him at 2.
Behind who?
Rio.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think those two are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chasm. There's a chasm between Terry and Ferdinand, and then there's a chasm between Ferdinand and.
Oh no! I'd have Rio 1, JT 2, but it's close.
Nah. Terry on the ball. Terry's starting Chelsea's attacks. That left foot crossfield ball.
No, listen,
it's unrivaled.
Unbelievable. But Rio bring the ball on his chest, bringing it out. I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue with someone if he says Terry's 1 because they're both unbelievable.
Where's Van Dijk in your list?
He's top 5.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who are you leaving? I'm struggling to work out who you're leaving out there. So if that means either is Tony Adams in your top 5?
It's so hard. It's an hard one. I love Big Tony. Probably would.
Tony Adams has to be everybody's Premier League top 5, doesn't he? That moment against Everton, summed him up.
But then you've got Vincent Kompany's in mine.
Sol Campbell. Is he in yours?
See, we'll run out of
You're running
spaces.
out of rooms to put Van Dijk in. That's what
I think Van Dijk would be in there. Big Tone would be in there as well. But I think I'm going to be missing someone.
Yeah. See, this could be clipped up and then positioned as one of your worst ever takes.
Which is why I'm not committing to it.
How bad do you think James Corden's take was there? Drop Harry Kane from a must-win England game.
Again, I get where he's coming from, but I wouldn't do it. There's no way on the planet I'm doing that.
Very interesting. Right, we are taking your calls next. What is the worst ever footballing take? Do you have any current hot takes after James Corden claims that there is an argument for benching Harry Kane at the latter stages of the World Cup this summer? Let us know. 03717 22 3344. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and him, Darren Bent.
If he scores 15, it would be a really good season.
Christ on a bike. If you don't win it from now, in terms of beating Burnley and beating Crystal Palace, they've got nothing to play for either side, then you don't deserve to be champions, do you?
And so what would you be doing then on that Monday afterwards? Would you be coming in on that bank holiday so you can give it to me? Would you not bother turning up if Arsenal win it?
It's not about giving it to you. It's about holding things to account. No one's really interested in your personal objective.
So we're so close to this. So at the end of the day...
The question is, do you now think that Arsenal should now win the league?
They're in as good a position.
So if they don't win the league now, that would be relatively inexcusable.
Well, why is he when we get?
And if City win this position,
just a minute,
I'd be saying the same thing.
Why were you?
It was a City bias.
Why were you not saying that at the beginning of last week? When Man City were in that position, when Man City get a point,
because I'm delighted.
Only a point.
I'm delighted that Man City, because I'm delighted that Man City aren't going to win the league. Who wants a monopoly?
Who wants it? That?
Well, why wouldn't I do? I'm not frightened of saying things. You seem to be unwilling to say certain things. You don't want to name pundits.
No, because I've been in this journey before.
Yeah, because you're
and
worried,
they're very flippant. It's very flippant
what people are going to say.
Well, it's very flippant to dismiss.
Put your proverbial on the block and say it, and people criticise you or they won't criticise you.
I think quietly behind the scenes.
Have they won it, Martin?
No, they haven't won it, Jim. They've got 2 games to play. Look at Man City, what we're dealing with, and creating an energy. Will Pep be there? Won't he be there? Bernardo Silva hanging up his boots to go somewhere else. There's a drive and an energy to get to the finishing line. You're up against Pep here. Let's not discount that. You have to earn this.
You're not up against Pep. You're up against Burnley and Crystal Palace.
That's it.
And if you don't beat Burnley and Crystal Palace,
no, it's like a tug of war.
No,
you're on that rope, and that rope's starting to come Arsenal's way.
Right.
To be the voice of a sheep.
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser. How much of Rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man.
He's a dude. Kirsty and Phil.
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent, in partnership with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll bring you the latest edition of I Am DB. But just quickly, Paris Saint-Germain have made Julian Alvarez of Atletico Madrid one of their main targets for next season. Huge signing that would be for the European champions. And Lionel Messi remains the highest paid player in MLS with an annual base salary of only £18.5 million.
Why living in Miami? Oh my goodness!
Ooh,
wow.
la la, yeah, not bad money, that's for sure. Now we're taking your calls. What is the worst ever footballing take, or do you have any current hot takes? Give us a bell. 03717 223344. Lee, the Tottenham fan, you're live on talkSPORT.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Very good, man. You?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Just want to say, first of all, I listen to the show every day. I love it. And Andy's a very hard act to follow. And Rory, I think you've stepped into his shoes beautifully, so well done to you.
That's very kind of you, Lee.
Nice,
Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
No problem at all. My worst footballing take, and I get knocked for it constantly by a certain group that I'm in, is Harry Kane. I'm a massive Spurs fan, as you just said, been a season ticket holder for 35 years. When he first came onto the scene, when he was stripping off, getting ready to come on, I was sitting there thinking, oh no, not this guy. Because, I mean, when he first came into it, he looked immobile, he looked stiff, and he looked like, for me anyway, technically inept. And actually, your producer I just spoke to said he's a Millwall fan, and he felt the same when he was at Millwall. And obviously, I couldn't have been more wrong. I called him a one-season wonder, two-season wonder. I couldn't really get away with calling him a three-season wonder, but I just cannot believe how good he's turned out to be, and how you could argue that now, not that he's just the best striker in the world now, but technically as well now, he's just one of the best, and I just never saw it coming.
Do you know what, Lee? Do you know what? It's not the worst take in the world, because at Orient, he scores 5 goals at Orient, 9 at Millwall, none at Norwich, and 2 at Leicester. And then his first where he played quite a few games for Tottenham, he scores 4. But so it's obviously 2014-15 is where you're thinking he explodes and goes 31 goals in all comps, and you go, hold on a second here.
Yeah.
And then from then he almost took off. But when I speak to people that knew him really well, people like Jermaine Defoe, who was still at the club when he was coming through, the one thing they always said about Harry Kane was he was always on the training pitch last, he was on the training pitch first, working on his finishing. And when you watch him now, I mean, he's absolutely lethal from anywhere.
Lethal. It just shows you that, you put the hard work in, and it's certainly paid off massively with him, and he's I never saw it coming.
Amazing.
And that's my worst wobbling take.
I don't think that's that bad a take from Lee, you know. I think I think that's all right.
Yeah, although when you look at what he's gone on to do, it doesn't age well, does it? If you said that he's not going to do it, he's not going to cut it, it certainly didn't age well.
You've got to think that he's been at Leicester, Norwich, Millwall and Orient, and you'd go, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, fair play for Lee. Let's go back to the phone lines now. We'll talk to Gary. Gary's an Arsenal fan.
How you doing, lads? All right?
Yeah, mate, you all right?
Yeah, all good. All just on the way home from work, so...
Gary, I guess you're like me. You got your hands praying for Palace to nick a draw tonight.
I need it. We all need it, right?
Not all of us, Gary. I'll be doing a Poznan in my front room.
Not so much, but hopefully there's no VAR calls for you to get wrong. But,
we want to talk about where you got something wrong, Gary. Mine are well established.
I've had an absolute mare with this one, and I've had some proper heated arguments with my best mate about it. So, Bennett, you all know, Nicholas Bentner came through the youth ranks at Arsenal.
Yeah.
He signed him, and he did well for the youth team, didn't he? He scored a lot of goals.
Yeah, he did.
And he backed himself to be a future Ballon d'Or winner, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then for a good couple of seasons, when he came through into the first team, I was absolutely bang on point with him. He's 100% going to be a Ballon d'Or winner. There's no way this guy's not going to reach the top of the game. And to a point where my best mate was just absolutely adamant that it's not going to happen. We'd have arguments about how terrible he is, how he can't finish, he can't move, he looks like he's running through concrete. And I just wouldn't hear any of it. He's definitely going to do it. And, he didn't quite reach the level, did he?
No, Nicholas Bentner didn't quite reach the level of winning a Ballon d'Or.
No, I mean, I think the most he ever scored in terms of a league season for Arsenal was 9.
Yeah.
But I remember being at Tottenham, right, and there was one particular game at the Emirates where he came off the bench. They got a corner and they brought him on, and he kind of come on as a substitute, run into the penalty area, the ball came in, he got up, bang, header, first touch.
Really?
Away he went, yeah. Do you know, he was a really intelligent player in terms of his touch was good, he linked play really, really well.
I just remember him having a fight with Adebayor. That's my that's my overriding memory of Nicholas Bentner.
Just wasn't prolific enough. Like, you look, he just wasn't. That was all it was. Just weren't prolific enough. But he was a good player.
Yeah, very good player.
Yeah, good player. Lord Bentner.
Lord Bentner called himself.
Yeah.
Called himself. Let's go to Owen now. Owen's a Liverpool fan. Owen, what was your terrible take?
My terrible take, me personally, is probably me being a Liverpool fan, can't stand United, and my one was Bruno Fernandez. I thought, when I first saw him at United, I thought the first 6 months he joined was all hype. I mean, you look at that United team, and it was absolutely dismal. And Bruno Fernandez, I thought, just looked like a big fish in a small pond at the time, because that's what I thought they were. But I think he's proved me wrong. If you ask me, I think he's been one of the best midfielders in the league since he's arrived in. It pains me to say it, but I think if you was to put him in any club in world football, he improves them.
I think it's not the worst take in the world, Owen. I'm a fan of Bruno Fernandez, but I mean, I don't put him as high as some people do, but he's been incredible. But I think where people don't like him is, and I said it before, is the petulance.
Yeah,
I think you can't deny his ability, his numbers, the assists, the goals, and the impact he's had on Manchester United. He's been their best signing since Fergie era, easily.
Yeah, that's definitely not up for grabs.
But it's the petulance, the waving the arms, the screaming at the referee. That's where people go, no, I'm not having him.
Yeah. Also, he's been the captain of a Manchester United team that lost the European final to Tottenham. He's a captain of a Manchester United team that lost the European final to Villarreal. People are being very kind about it.
Was he captain then, or was it Harry Maguire, the first one, Villarreal?
Maybe. But either way, he was part of it. He's part of a Manchester United team that have lost 2 European finals. I think the support for Bruno Fernandes has gone mad. But I must say, this goes out to everybody that's called in and to you. You're all rubbish at getting things wrong. These are all mild.
Yeah.
I said that Erling Haaland was going to flop. He won the treble, scored 52 goals, broke the record in the Premier League, and was robbed of a Ballon d'Or.
I've got another one for you, actually.
Go on.
You said Palmer was better than Saka, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
Cole Palmer.
But he's not, obviously. Look at consistency.
No, that's fine. Cole Palmer better than Saka.
He's not, though, is he? Consistency.
No, consistency is one thing that
is he?
Consistency is a problem.
I remember that one as well about Usyk and Palmer. What's happened to him, Palmer, by the way? That's your boy, that.
I think he's just injured. I think
he's obviously not.
Do you know what? I don't think he should get. This is a big take from me. I don't think he should go to the World Cup. Not because we don't need him, but he just needs some time off. He needs to have this groin surgery. He just needs to have a summer off. He's playing constantly.
The thing is, I think it's a bit unfair, but do you think he's one season wonder or not?
No. He's done. Do you know if you think about what he has done for Chelsea, when he first arrived, he carried the club on his shoulders. We could have gone down that year. We really were terrible. Then you look at what he's done in big games. He scored for England in a Euros final, playing against Spain in Berlin. That is a serious footballer. Look at what he did to Paris Saint-Germain, New York City, in front of the president.
Yeah.
I think he's a serious footballer, but he does need some time off.
He's not been at his best this season, has he?
No, it's not been a good season for him at all, but he'll come back stronger next year with a bit of luck. Still to come, we'll head to the Etihad and find out what Adrian Durham's latest hot take is. But first, it's time for No Googling. We want to know which stadium has hosted the most European Cup or Champions League finals. And this is too easy.
That's a great question.
Too easy. Do you know?
I mean, I've got 2 in my head, but I'm not going to.
It's too easy. We will tell you after this.
Leeds, they had injuries. They weren't really at the races.
Oh, they should have won it, though. Leeds should have won it.
Yeah, because we fell apart. We fell apart, mate.
What's that?
Yeah, but
don't blame Leeds. Don't have a proper West Ham.
I'm not blaming Leeds, but Leeds were there to get beat tonight. It wasn't a great performance from Leeds, right? But once we scored, we went 1-0 up, right? Yeah. And we fell apart. We were bottling it all over the park. No one had any bottle to get on the ball, to make a pass, to have some structure. There was no pattern of our play. Everything that De Zerbi's probably been working on with them just went completely out the window. There's 11 players just out there hoping that something might happen.
I thought it was a good point. I thought it was a decent point, mate.
Is that what you're going to say for 2 hours? You're just going to say it's a good point?
Right. Well, you could have come away with nothing. And I'll tell you what's worse, losing. That's worse.
I know, mate, but that's not a good point. We're at home. Out of the 3 games we got left, that's the easiest
How many
game.
points have you picked up this season at home?
I don't know. Not many.
Right, not many. So that's a good point.
I don't think we've won at home for 5 months. I know, but come on.
5 months? I've had a hair transplant. It's going to grow back. I'll have a hair transplant. It's going to grow back by the time you next win at home. That's how long it's been. I only had a hair transplant about 6 weeks ago.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that performance. What is Matthias Dell doing? What?
Oh, it's a brilliant finish. What are you on about?
No, the goal's a great goal. What's he doing in his box? What is he doing? A bicycle kick.
Yeah.
A bicycle kick in your own box when you're in the bottom three, when you can't see what's around you, and he's trying to do a bicycle kick. Honestly, what's he doing?
Can we just give Everton...
In the first half, he crossed one in.
This Spygate saga could rumble into next week. That's the view of football legal expert Stefan Borson.
It's a very, very difficult situation for this independent commission. I don't see how anybody can know that it's heading in the direction of sporting sanction, notwithstanding the fact that clearly, if you spy on a team, the reason is to gain an advantage.
We understand Middlesbrough have evidence that Southampton spied on 2 other clubs. It ended a 2-1 home win for Saints after extra time in a tense playoff semi. Danny Murphy's told talkSPORT it goes to show there's not that much to gain from spying anyway.
The impact of what they did, although it's wrong on the pitch, as Simon said, the evidence of the game tells you there was no impact.
This is the FA are deciding whether to investigate Taylor Harwood-Bellis. It's claimed the Southampton defender used discriminatory language towards Borough's Luke Ayling. Now we're hearing Michael Carrick's getting even closer to being named as the permanent Manchester United manager. The executive committee at Old Trafford are expected to put him forward as their preferred option at a meeting this week. Anthony Gordon is said to have agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Newcastle want at least 75 million for the winger. And some breaking news from the world of cricket. Zach Crawley has been dropped from the England Test squad. With an opening spot available, Durham batter Emilio Gray has received his first call-up. Get all the latest on our website at talksport.com.
Into song when you heard this.
What film is this from again?
Robin, is it Kevin Costner? No.
Oh, that might be a good shout. Kevin Costner, Robin Hood.
Is it? Is it Kevin? No, that's Bryan Adams, isn't it? What's this from?
I feel like it's like Armageddon or one of them type of films.
It's definitely something like no. I remember Armageddon. It wasn't that. Armageddon was I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I'm pretty sure. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent. A moment ago, we brought you the final no-Googling of this evening. We asked, which stadium has hosted the most European Cup or Champions League finals?
Wembley.
The answer can only be Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium has hosted 5. 1963, 1968, 1971, 1978 and 1992. Which I remember Sampdoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember because my dad got a ticket from that.
Wow.
Got a ticket. You could just go. Like, it didn't sell out or anything. It's not like it is now. You could just go, I think, because we lived northwest London. There would have also been 3 at the new Wembley. Right, following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham hosts live commentary of a huge game in the title race as Crystal Palace go to Manchester City. Adrian Durham now joins us ahead of it all. How are you, Adrian?
Listen, Rory, Darren, what a great show. I've really enjoyed it. This is one of those shows. So I was travelling up from Southampton on the train to Manchester and got to Manchester, put the show on at 4, and I thought, I'll have a quick 20 minutes. I haven't been able to put it off, honestly.
Oh, that is
so good.
Always nice coming from the goat, innit? When it comes from the goat, it means
from
more
the main man. That really,
so good.
That really does mean a lot.
It's just good fun. And Darren Bent not even knowing you were in EastEnders, mate. I mean, where has he been?
Adrian, that's very, very kind of you. And again, I'm really grateful to you to bring that up. Thank you so much.
You starred in EastEnders, mate. You starred.
Adrian, we've been discussing our terrible football takes. I don't suppose you have any, do you?
Never. No, never had one, mate. No, never. How long have I been at talkSPORT? How many do you think I've had? By the way, the caller who just said about Bruno, that in itself was one of the worst takes I've ever heard. He was defending his own poor take, saying Bruno was no good. So he said, no, I got that one wrong. And he actually said to you, if you put Bruno in a team, any team in world football, he improves them. What a load of rubbish that is. That in itself is one of the worst takes I've ever heard. He's 31. He's had 6 years at Man United, winning basically nothing but a couple of cups. He's not even had Champions League football, didn't even have European football last season.
You don't think
and
Luis
no
Enrique's
big club
desperate
came
for
in for
him?
him. No big club came in for him. I mean, he hasn't. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. Any of your own, Adrian? Anything springs to mind?
Do you want one of mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? Hold on one second. Just talk amongst yourself a second.
Okay, so 80 seconds.
Just had to have a drink, sorry. 2017, sorry, I lost my voice there, I was so emotional. 2017, do you remember Everton smashed, midweek game, they smashed Pep's Man City 4-0. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
It was a great, Ronald Koeman's Everton, right? Ademola Lookman scored on his debut for Everton, whatever happened to him. And also, it was a brilliant performance from Tom Davies, okay, as a teenager in the Everton midfield. He scored a great goal. He was man of the match. And I said the next day on your show, I said Tom Davies would go on to be better than Steven Gerrard.
Oh.
I wasn't far off.
That is some take that is from you, by the way.
Yeah, that is wild. That is wild.
That's hotter than the McDonald's apple pie.
See, now I feel better about mine. Now I feel better about mine. Adrian Durham.
Oh, no. Nothing tops your Haaland take, which was actually a mistake.
Yeah.
Honestly. That's one of the worst I've ever heard. Did you not see him play?
Yeah, I know. It was bad, Adrian. It certainly hasn't aged well. And yeah, I mean, the fact that do you know what? My prediction of 15 goals was basically over in November. He'd done it. He'd done it by November. It was incredibly
But what I love about it is you've owned it. It's not people coming for you on social media. You've not said, no, I didn't say that. I meant this. I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. You've owned it. Sometimes, you know what, in this game, you're going to get a lot of things wrong, as people do down the pub, as people do on the concourses at football stadiums. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Adrian, turning our attention to tonight's game, can you see Palace getting anything from this game and helping Arsenal out?
Palace always score here, so and City conceded 3 against Everton last week, so I can see Palace scoring, but you can also see City scoring. We know the equation. We know that Man City, if they drop points here, then it's all over Monday night, because nobody can see Burnley getting anything at Arsenal live on talkSPORT. So the pressure is on for Manchester City at least to take it to the final day. So hopefully, in terms of the title race, they keeping it going. Hopefully, Man City will get the win. But listen, it's Arsenal's for the taking. They're going to do it, and we're all going to have to emigrate, Rory. I mean, the joyous thing about it is that I will be in America for the World Cup for 7 weeks. So, and by the time England win that World Cup, that will have overtaken Arsenal winning the title in all the news stories. So that's all people will be talking about. So
yeah, I'll be clinging onto your coattails, Adrian.
Hey, don't worry about that. I'll be sending you all kind of gifts and pictures from the parade and everything of Arsenal in the league.
I'm blocking you, mate. I'm blocking Bentley. Not having that.
So, so tonight, from a Crystal Palace perspective, I mean, listen, they've got one of the biggest, probably arguably one of the biggest games of their career coming up in just over 2 weeks' time, I think it is. What do you expect from the players? Because it's an interesting one, because of course they're not going to want to get injured because they're going to want to play in that. They have still got a few more league games. They've got City, Brentford and Arsenal, of course. It's a weird mindset for them to be in, but I quite like what the manager said. He said he's not here to do Man City or Arsenal any favours. He's trying to win every single game. So I really like that from him.
Yeah, he also said that Palace's influence in the title race is definitely going to be less than VAR, which I thought was absolute genius from Ollie Glasner. Yeah, listen, you can't tell me, and you know this, Benty, players don't go out onto a pitch to deliberately lose a game, I don't think, unless there's something really sinister going on. That's not happening with Palace here tonight. However, I think what you're saying is, if there's 50-50s, are they going to go for them? Well, some players will. Some players might duck out of them because there's a European final round the corner. And you know, you can kind of understand that in a way. They want to play in that European final, one of the biggest moments in their career that, you know, will it ever come around again? So I get it, but I'd like to think... I said after... who was it rolled over against Arsenal recently?
Fulham?
A couple of weeks ago.
Fulham?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Fulham were absolutely dreadful. And I said... what we need now is for everybody who's playing Arsenal and Manchester City to give it a full tilt, and then the next game, Everton, go and do what they did against City. So, and I'm all for that. So I was just thinking tonight, Palace have really got to go for it full tilt. They'll all be wanting to start that European final as well, so that's an interesting counterpoint to what you're saying there.
Yeah, and from City's perspective, Adrian, they just got to go for this and hope, haven't they? Just go for it and be waiting if Arsenal do stumble.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed in Manchester City because I think they haven't taken this title race seriously. I think that they've dropped stupid points against West Ham, Forest, Everton. Mark Gay not taking it seriously with his ridiculous defending at Everton last week. You know, chances that were missed, and just like I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, Doku, how long did it take you to come to the party? Semenyo, why have you dropped off in recent weeks? You know, I'm Nico Gonzalez. You've been given a great chance to try and replace Rodri, and you've basically done nothing about it. I just think it's a disappointing effort from Manchester City. They've not really taken the title race seriously, and I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Adrian Durham, thank you so much for finding the time to talk to us.
Cheers, Aid.
Cheers, Adrian. Now it's time for this.
Can't really sleep, so I put on Moonraker. I'm in the middle of rewatching Spartacus. I'll blow the bloody doors off. Watch a bit of Trisha in the morning. IMDb.
Yes, this is our new feature. It's called I Am DB, where every week our very own Darren Bent talks us through what he's been watching when he wakes up at 4 a.m. and can't go back to sleep. What do? You just go and stick on the worst film that you can find?
No, it's just whatever comes to my mind at that time. I thought, or if I'm looking and I go across it, and I'm watching that.
What? I'm looking at the list of films that you've watched. You've fairly recently watched The Anaconda.
Yeah, great film, that.
You couldn't find anything better, more appealing than The Anaconda.
No, I wanted to watch it. Jack Black, the new version. Paul Rudd.
Okay, well, look, last week on IMDb, you gave out your lowest rating yet. You watched Titanic 2, and you gave it a 2.5 out of 10.
You know what? I was at a paddle event this weekend, and someone came up to me and went, "Oh my goodness, that Titanic 2." I said, "Well, I told you." I said it was awful.
People are actually taking your recommendations seriously.
Jesus went out and went to watch Titanic 2, and he said, "Oh my god, it was awful." I said, "Well, I told you that."
Okay, what have you been... well, don't tell us. Who's in the film that you watched this week?
Well, do you know what? So I started with Ghostbusters, right? But then I switched it off because I was like, no, this ain't really doing it for me. And then I put on a Van Damme film. Now, anyone who's listened to the show, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, what's the plot? Don't give away any spoilers. What's the plot of this film?
He avenges his brother who gets paralysed.
Ooh, okay, right. I like it. Family honour and all that.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Kickboxer.
Actually unbelievable. Jean-Claude Van Damme is involved.
Kickboxer is the film. It is unbelievable. So he obviously goes over to Thailand. His brother's the world champion. He gets paralysed by Tung Po. Who's like, he works for the gangsters, but he's like the best fighter in Thailand. Van Damme has to train himself up, man, in that Muay Thai kind of kickboxing to avenge his brother. It is what a film, Van Damme. I mean, he's got several films I watch all the time. Kickboxer's one, Bloodsport's another one, AWOL's another one.
Really?
Universal Soldier's another one.
This is very important. What score are you going to give Kickboxer?
8.6.
8.6?
Yeah, Van Damme.
Huge. Just for some, just for something to compare this to. 6.4 is what it got on IMDb.
Yeah, no, it's better than that.
So you've given it an 8.
8.6.
8.6.
Kickboxer is one of those films, right, where folklore will go, what film that is? When he's kicking the bamboo with his leg. Smashes down the bamboo.
Is that what he does? Smash through the bamboo?
Yeah. Honestly, Van Damme, I know some of his films are a little bit cheesy, but if you want a good action film, I mean, he's been in some unbelievable ones. Double Impact, not bad. That's okay.
Do you still, I imagine, if this is the kind of film you like, how do you feel about Steven Seagal films?
Yeah, but see, same genre. I can watch Steven Seagal type films, like, what's the one on the boat?
Yeah, when the girl jumps out of the cake. When the girl jumps out of the cake. Yeah.
Then there's Under Siege 2.
Yeah.
On the train.
When the girl jumps out of the cake again.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like Steven Seagal. Wesley Snipes, he's got that type of film as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Van Damme's the one, man. Hard target.
If you had to if you could only watch Steven Seagal, Wesley Snipes, or Jean-Claude Van Damme films for the rest of your life.
Oh, Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes over the other.
Passenger 57. Drop Zone.
Yeah, that's bangers actually.
Oh,
what was the one where he's like a vampire? Do you remember?
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
No, that's Eddie Murphy.
No. What was he? No, Blade. That was the one where he's drinking the blood and all that. Yeah. So this is. I've got a side to you here that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, 8.6.
8.6.
Kickboxer.
Okay.
I mean, listen, Bruce Lee's my guy.
I'm looking at your recommendations here because I might take one of these seriously. You've given Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls 8 out of 10.
Tell me it's not.
I could tell you it's not. I feel like you're not leaving yourself anywhere to go.
Oh, no, yeah, Titanic 2, there's plenty of room to go.
No, but if Ace Ventura is 8, when you watch like a genuine classic, where are you going to go?
Yeah, but I'm not going to watch a classic like Shawshank at 4 a.m. It's not happening. So I need these type of ones where I can watch it, but not really.
It's like chewing gum for the brain.
Yeah, just like
4 a.m. films with Darren Bent. That's a YouTube channel right there.
IMDb, mate.
4 a.m. films with Darren Bent. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Next up, we'll bring you team news from all of this evening's action, and One Word Billy joins us for the end of show quiz.
Another developing story this morning coming out of Manchester United. Manchester United have reportedly reached out to other potential candidates, but wish to speak to Michael Carrick first. What do you read into that? Is the significant fact of that Carrick gets first dibs in speaking to those who will make the ultimate decision?
Well,
in other words, he's leading the way.
I find it strange how these things come out. Like, who is it leaking the fact that United have spoken or speaking to other candidates before they speak to Michael? I mean, it's bizarre, especially when you're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world. Can they not do business? Can they not keep their own counsel? I find that a bit bizarre, but he's done really well. And, with the position they were in to where he's got them, you could argue he deserves another go at it and bring some players in the summer. And I wouldn't say that's a huge risk. The progression they've made under him, I'd give him another go.
Yeah, significant, Simon, that they want to speak to Carrick first.
Yeah, again, I don't know who's briefing in and whether it's coming from Carrick's side or whether it's coming from Man United's side as to the briefing in as to why Man United need. You can employ an England manager without anyone knowing about it, but they can't seemingly have a conversation amongst themselves without broadcasting it to the media. I don't understand why that is the case. I still think it's fraught with lots of questions that need to be asked and answered about the position of someone that becomes in moments of adversity. We've seen no moments of adversity for Carrick, really. He's done the job, so it makes it a conundrum.
Chris O'Dowd! When you get the offer to be the voice of a sheep...
Yes, you can only dream, really.
Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser! Well, how much of Rip does your husband in real life have about him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a man.
He's a dude. Kirsty and Phil!
Can we talk about one other thing?
We can talk about loads of things. It's an interview.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning.
live on talkSPORT with me, Rory, Jennings and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham hosts live commentary of a huge game in the title race as Crystal Palace go to Manchester City. The team news is in for that one and Sam Matterface has got all the details. How are you, Sam?
Rory, good evening to you. Thank you very much for coming to us up here at the Etihad Stadium. And beware the big news. No Erling Haaland in the starting lineup. No Ryan Cherki in the starting lineup. No Jeremy Doku in the starting lineup for Manchester City, who make in total 6 changes from their last outing here against Brentford at the weekend. Maybe with one eye on the FA Cup final at the weekend. Donnarumma is their goalkeeper. Kusanov comes back into the team at right back. Gay, Gvardiol and Ait-Nouri make up the back four. Matthias Nunez and Bernardo Silva we think will go into midfield, with Semenyo, Foden, Savinho supporting Marmoush in attack. On the bench, Trafford, Ruben Diaz is getting back from injury. Tijani Reinders, who started the game at the weekend. John Stones, Nathan Ake, Mateo Kovacic, Erling Haaland, Ryan Cherki and Jeremy Doku. Crystal Palace, a little bit more conservative with their changes. Of course, they've got one eye on a final as well, but that's in a couple of weeks' time. Hughes, Lerma, Mateta and Pino come in. 4 changes from what was a really impressive match down at Selhurst Park on Sunday when they drew with Everton. Henderson is their goalkeeper. The back 3 remains the same. It's Richards, Lacroix and Camvo. The right wing back is Daniel Munoz. Mitchell is the left wing back. Hughes and Lerma play in the centre of the park, with Pino and Johnson behind. Jean-Philippe Mateta in attack. On their bench, Walter Benitez, the experienced Argentine goalkeeper. Their top scorer is Mela Sarr, Nathaniel Klein, Kamada, Wharton, Strand Larsen, Chadi Riyad, Justin Devaney and Rio Cardenas. We're underway at 8 o'clock tonight, but that big news again, no Haaland, Cherki and Doku in the starting lineup for Manchester City.
Darren, I can't understand this. What is Pep Guardiola doing?
Well, you know, he's not. I won't say prioritising. And listen, you can still bring those guys off the bench, but with the FA Cup of the weekend. But still, if you're a Palace player and you see that, and even from an Arsenal perspective, you see Haaland, Doku, who's been their best player, who's pretty much put him on his back the last few weeks, and Cherki, who's one of the most exciting players in the Prem, all on the bench. I mean, I think he's going to use them at some point, but the fact they're not starting...
No, and you're starting, Ait-Nouri starting, Marmoush starting, Savinho starting.
Yeah, giving these guys minutes.
Yeah, it's very surprising, isn't it? It's a huge gamble, this, from Pep Guardiola. Yeah. I am slightly surprised. Over on talkSPORT 2, you can hear Stockport versus Stevenage in the League One playoff semi-finals. Cameron Pope has the team news ahead of that one.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good evening. We are at the halfway stage of the League One playoffs, and it's tonight's hosts who have the advantage after Ben Osborne's late winner on Saturday at the Lamex. Stevenage are better known for the goals they prevent rather than the goals they score. They'll need at least one in Stockport tonight. Stockport boss Dave Challoner says his players need no reminder of what's on the line. He's picked the same 11 as in the first leg as County look to rejoin the second tier after 24 years away. It's Adai in goal, Dacus Cogley, striker turned defender Wootton, Pye and Dunn at the back, Stokes, Norwood and Osborne in midfield, Barry, Bailey and Sidibe in attack. Alex Ravel stuck with the same team for most of the run-in, but he does make 2 changes tonight. Dan Phillips and Jordan Houghton come in for Harvey White and Louis Thompson both benched. So it's Marshall the goalkeeper, Early, Piagiani, Good and Pattenden behind a midfield of Kemp, Houghton, Dan Phillips and Roberts. Reid and Matt Phillips lead the line. Stevenage have never played at a higher level than this one, but it's Stockport who lead 1-0 in aggregate. Kick off at 8 o'clock live on talkSPORT 2, the League One playoff semi-final, second leg from Edgeley Park.
And there's also a huge game in Scotland as Hearts face Falkirk. David Tanner has the team news from that one.
Well, they've been top of the league since September and they haven't lost a game at home all season. This could be the night that Hearts are crowned champions of Scotland for the first time since 1960. Now, with a 1-point lead, the arithmetic for Hearts is simple. If they win and Celtic lose at Motherwell this evening, it's all over by 10 o'clock. Any other outcome, and it goes to the last day when Hearts go to Celtic Park, when it's winner takes all. 2 Hearts players ruptured their Achilles at the weekend at the worst possible time. Key defender Craig Halkett and Mark Leonard are both out for 9 months. They're replaced by Frankie Kent and Harry Milne. There's a third change. Alexandros Kazaridis comes in for Stephen Kingsley. This evening, the impossible dream could come true for Heart Midlothian. It's Hearts v Falkirk, kick-off at 8.
Thank you, David. Darren, we have to talk about this lineup from Pep Guardiola. It's such a simple task for Manchester City. They know that if they don't win tonight, Arsenal can win the league against Burnley. It really is that simple. Man City must win. But for some reason, Pep Guardiola has really tinkered with this team.
Well, no, he's obviously shown faith in his squad. I mean, listen, it's an unbelievable squad. And listen, I like Nouri. I think he's a really good player. I like Marmoush, Savinho, Foden. Obviously, he needs a big performance. So he's just leading on his squad there. And at some point, you're going to have to get rest to the likes of Doku and Haaland, Shirky. But it's a big gamble from Pep. We've seen him do it before. And we've seen him get caught out with it before. But listen, they've still got more than enough there to probably beat Palace, who've got, for me, their best player on the bench in Sarr.
I can't believe this. This kind of taps into what we were saying before. You know, we were speaking earlier about James Corden suggesting that maybe it would be in England's interest not to start Kane. I think we both agreed that would be lunacy.
Yeah.
This, though, Pep Guardiola has aligned himself with James Corden. Pep Guardiola is not starting his major players in a must-win game.
Yeah, but no, again, in this situation, he's obviously trying to prioritise the FA Cup this weekend, and he feels that squad's good enough. But I do think as well, having the likes of, if you're a Palace player and you're working hard, you're digging in, and then you see Doku come off the bench, or Haaland, Shirky, like, oh, here we go again. So I kind of understand why he done it. I wouldn't do it, but listen, he's one of the best ever, if not the best ever. So who are we to question him? And that's what you got squads for.
You've seen the lineup now in its glory. Do you think that lineup is good enough to win? Do you think Manchester City get the vital win tonight?
I think they can. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm praying for a 2-2, but I think they've got more than enough starting and coming off the bench to get something from this game.
Amazing.
I hope not, though.
Amazing. Darren, thank you very much. It's been an honour. That's all we have time.
You're back tomorrow.
I'm back tomorrow.
Yeah, you usually say it's an honour on the Friday when you
I know every day's an honour. Every moment's an honour when I'm sat with you. You've been listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. We're back tomorrow from 4 p.m. Next up, it's Adrian Durham, and he brings you live and exclusive commentary of Manchester City versus Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
I ain't afraid of no guns. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
James Corden is with us in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, mate. Good morning, James.
So happy to be here.
It's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm really well. Yeah, I'm very good.
Thank you for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
It's lovely. We've got so much to talk to you about.
For sure.
Before we talk about football, right?
Yes.
I was just going over old stuff that you've done, right? And I was watching with my producer Ollie this morning when you did the Sports Personality of the Year. I think it was 09, 07, I can't remember. It was nearly 20 years ago. And you stood up in front of everyone, right?
Yes.
And you gave, as Smithy, you gave this massive speech.
Smithy won Coach of the Year.
And I said to the producer, he's got a good memory, right? How nerve-wracking must that have been for you? Was that just insane? Did you have autocue on that? Or was that...
Well,